What's going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown, episode 71. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and I'm joined by Emilio Lopez.
What's up, people?
Chris Seeley.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
All right, Brett is probably going to join us later. He's watching the Deadpools, so we got some special guests. All right, returning guest, too. First up, my man, Mr. Alex Nuss from Junkie Monkeys. What's good, bro?
What's up, everybody?
And Kristin Carella, who hasn't been on the show for a very, very long time. Hello, Kristin.
Hey, guys, what's up?
Oh, a lot's up. I remember I was talking to you on Twitter, and you were like, oh, man, I got so much to say about this. Like, get on the show. Let's do this.
I've been very mad today.
Let's get right into it, people. You see the title. You already know what we're going to be talking about. Motherfucking Quantum Break. Okay, so it was announced. Actually, let's go back a little bit, right? The game was rumored to be coming out for PC last week or so, right? Some Amazon Brazilian site or whatever listed it. Xbots. Let me finish.
Yeah.
So Manny, I know you want to get in there. So it got listed, it got leaked, right? And then they took it off, right? And the Xbox guys were like, "See, you guys are full of shit. The game's never coming to PC. Why would Microsoft do that?" And they said that because Microsoft had officially said the game is not coming to PC. It's always going to be an exclusive. Lo and behold, game's coming to PC. It got officially announced today. Go ahead, man, because you want to just start already.
It's weird because it's the weirdest thing is I was always under the assumption it was coming out to PC all the way from the beginning because they even said it that a bunch of Microsoft exclusive games will be coming to PC. So I was like, all right, this was going to be in there too. So I see the news today. I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah, but the thing is, Microsoft has actually been saying the game is not coming to PC. Like these guys were linking the articles and stuff, right? So it's coming to PC now. Before we get into the fallout, because that's the real shit I want to talk about. All right, so basically, if you get the Xbox One version of the game, right, you're going to get a free version of it for PC. You get a digital code, and that's for a limited time too. It's only going to be up to like a little bit after launch day. Then you're also going to get Alan Wake, the 2 DLCs that come with Alan Wake, and the expansion, American Nightmare, for free, right? So this, on the surface of it, it sounds pretty good, right? It's like, hey, PC guys get Quantum Break, Xbox guys get Quantum Break, everybody wins, right? Apparently not. Xbox guys were fucking livid. They were pissed. And who they took their ire out on? None other than Phil Spencer himself, man. Somebody sent me a tweet. It was an exchange between Crap Gamer and Phil Spencer. He's like, "How dare you do this? I'm canceling my pre-order." And Phil Spencer, man, he shot back. He was like, "So you're canceling a pre-order because other people are gonna get to play this game too?" Made this guy look like a fucking idiot, And all day, Twitter was the most entertaining thing. I didn't leave my computer all day. I didn't need to know. I didn't need to watch TV. I didn't need to play games. Twitter was all I needed for entertainment. It was fucking glorious, man. And Alex, thank you for that GIF you made. That was the best.
Oh, yeah, that was amazing, dude. I was laughing so hard.
For you guys who don't know, he took the Crap Gamer logo, right, and he put the crying Michael Jordan face on it.
Yeah, I don't remember who requested it. Somebody requested it. I think they added me. It's like, hey, can you do this? Because I did one earlier. Because Broken Game HD, he took a screenshot of Unravel. He was like, "Oh, can you put crying Jordan face on this?" So I was like, "Yeah, I'll do it real quick. Do that." And I think he requested me to do that again, and then I just put on Crap Game.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I forgot to say this. Again, I just wanted to jump right in. Shout out to Broken Games HD, Kenneth Johnson, for being on the show last week. Totally cool dude. Really big episode. You guys really liked us having him on. And yeah, him and I, man, we were having a field day with these dudes, man. We were just retweeting shit from our followers. I mean, it got so bad that Crab Gamer, he started tweeting at Yoshida and going, "Hey, I'm looking forward to Uncharted 4. Like, this guy got so fucked up."
That was amazing. He had like a slow meltdown on Twitter until that's the culmination of his like dementia, was tweeting at Yoshida, congratulating him on Sony NPDs, by the way. And then saying he's looking forward to Uncharted. I was like, whoa, did the polls shift? Maybe those gravitational waves affected Grab Gamer.
He's gonna start going. He's gonna start doing Sony stuff now, I guess, right?
Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw it. I just went down his timeline briefly, and he called Xbox One a paperweight, and then someone was like, "Oh yeah, you're switching."
Oh my God!
Someone was like, "You're switching sides." He's like, "Yeah, I want a console with exclusives."
Wow.
It's just so funny just watching the reaction.
Yeah.
Wasn't he saying that the PS4 has no exclusives? I guess he changed his tune.
Yeah, now the PS4 are great.
This was my entire day. I've been laughing and crying the entire day. I haven't had this much fun in a long time. These guys were just giving us entertainment, man.
Me and Tony talked about it. I don't know if the rest of you saw, but they had him and his posse or whatever had a 6-hour podcast dedicated to this news that Quantum Break was coming to PC. Nothing else.
6 hours. 6 hours down.
Okay, to be fair, we're exaggerating on 6 hours, but it was close to fucking 3 or 4.
It was long.
By the way, this is how I went, because oh my God, okay, Crap Gamer did his own podcast, which was 2 hours. This was after he had done a previous 2-hour episode with Zaire or something, or Gamer, 827, or where the fuck these guys are called. The thing about they had back-to-back episodes, right? It's like, you motherfuckers could have been playing games. Instead of bitching, you could have been enjoying your Xbox. And then, and here's the thing, I want to get right into it, because people are like, why are they getting mad? I'm telling you why they're mad. Because the Xbots law, and by the way, people, I want to clarify this. When I say Xbox, I don't mean a person that owns an Xbox. I mean a hardcore blind dude. If you're an Xbox guy and you're a fan, that's fine. Fanboys, different story, right? So Xbox now lost ammo for their console war, right? Halo didn't take off like they thought. They thought Halo was gonna, close the gap. That didn't happen. So the next savior, Quantum Break, right? But now that this shit is taken away from them, they feel like they've been diminished. They're not saying this, obviously, but that's what's going on here. They lost that piece of ammo and shit, It's crazy. They lost a whole infantry division, I
don't know. I didn't see any headlines to say that Xbots have been quantum broken, or... Come on, guys, I'm giving you pearls here. Somebody run with this. Quantum breakdown? Come on, somebody.
Quantum breakdown, yeah.
Crap gamers have a quantum breakdown.
See, now that's the name. That's what the episode should have been called.
Yeah,
Quantum
Chris,
Breakdown.
I should have talked to you. Quantum Break. I may change the shit right, before, afterwards. Who knows? Quantum Breakdown, shit.
Yeah, because these guys are, dude. I mean, you had the video response today, right? I watched your little video talking about this, right? And the comments in your video, this one guy, got on this fucking soapbox. I got super tired. Actually, Kristin got pissed about this. She told me. I watched the video and I read the comments. You should talk about it though, because what this guy said.
Yeah, go ahead, Chris.
Comments.
So I watched your video response, and I made the mistake of reading the comments, and so I'm looking, and this dude wrote a paragraph, and I'm like, oh boy, here we go, and he's ranting, butthurt, and he's like, we were there online day one, and we've been with them through thick and thin, and blah blah, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, okay. Number one, Xbox has not had thin times. Let's be real. You want to talk other companies have had bad times with their gaming stuff. That's understandable. Xbox is not one of them. The original Xbox did fine. The 360 did amazingly well. And the Xbox One is doing fine. So to sit there and go, we've been there through thick and thin and blah, 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 and it's this, I don't know, badge of honor. And I'm like, who are you kidding, guy? Okay, you bought a plastic box that plays games. Good for you. The company doesn't necessarily owe you anything for that. And no one's taking anything away from you. You're still getting your game. It's not like they took it away and said, oh, just kidding, it's actually going to be on PlayStation. Nobody said that.
Well, even if they did, it wouldn't matter. What I find fantastical is this guy thinks that Microsoft owes him a debt for being first online to buy an Xbox One and then supporting them all these years. Guess what? A lot of us supported Xbox all these years, and a lot of us are more grounded mentally and more secure in our decisions to be like, you know what? More people get to play Quantum Break. Okay.
It's this badge of honor mentality. Oh, I was there. I swear. It's I just don't. I'm not really getting where that's coming from.
But here's
you have to qualify to get that badge of honor.
Oh, by the way, welcome, Brett. By the way, welcome to the show. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed that.
Hey, everybody.
All right, go ahead, Brett. Ooh,
you can earn a badge of honor by platting 42 games. You can earn a badge of honor by fucking doing a 3-hour run of any Souls game death-free in under 3 hours. Like, there's lots of things you can do to prove your fucking prowess, and those things are generally things that other people can't just fucking do. Like, you don't see other people wake up in the morning and be like, dude, I took a shit today. Yep, no kidding. I sat down, slid right out of me. Weirdest damn thing. I think I'm a special snowflake.
Maybe if you're 4.
Yeah. Oh, but hold on, I need to jump in real quick, because here's the thing. This is what got me, right? Because it's not really about like that they owe it to them, right? It's more like they're entitled to an explanation. That's the other thing they were going at. It's like, you should have told us earlier. You betrayed us. Like, they don't owe you any fucking explanation. Who the fuck are you? You know, these guys are acting like
there's all kinds of assumptions that you have to take into account here. Like, first of all, like, okay, their whole thing, like, you owe us an explanation. It speaks volumes because, like, no, they don't owe you any kind of explanation. Nobody owes you anything. This is an entitlement, just as Tony said. But then again, there's like a certain amount of elitism. Like, you, like, saying you owe me an explanation implies that somebody did something wrong, right? And it's a very clever way to just skip over, you did something wrong, I want an explanation. It infers the first part and therefore makes it a non-negotiable term, and therefore you move right into the second part of, I'm owed an explanation. No, stop the fuck up for a second. Let's rewind and address the question you didn't fucking ask, which is, why is this a problem for you? How is this bad for you? Does this do anything negative to you? Yeah, the only negative thing that it does is it cuts down on your elitist ivory tower from which you can stand down and throw stones on other people. And let's be fucking honest, you're in the camp of, hey, let's not let people play video games. You're like a fucking Carella Disney villain. You are the person sitting on the side going, yes, nobody will be able to play their precious video games. Like, really? Do you not realize that you've become that fucking guy? And as that, fuck you. Like, there's not even much to say about that. You are wishing pain and misery, even if it's just the slightest fucking amount. You are still wishing pain, misery, inconvenience, unhappiness on a group of people you've never met, who you have nothing against, and who have nothing against you. You are propagating douchebagness into the world for no other reason than it makes you feel a little important. And goddamn if somebody else has the same thing that you have, because then you're not quite as fucking important. You know what? I've been dealing with kids like you since the beginning of fucking school for me. You're the asshole on the fucking playground that doesn't want to let other people play if they bring a fucking GoBot because you've got a Transformer. You know what? We could all be having a good fucking time if you didn't need to lord over everybody else and stomp it up. And all you're doing is constipating the works, pissing people off, and then pointing a finger in my general direction, acting like it's my fault. It's not my fault that this shit is going on. It's your fault. You're crying like a whiny little baby because you don't want somebody else to have something that you have, even when it's not yours to have. It's the developers. They get to share it with whomever they wish, and their choice of who to share it with is anybody that wants to give them $59.99. That's their fucking prerogative. You don't own this. You have no rights to it. So shut the fuck up. And honestly, if you're just going to be this much of a whiny, bitchy baby and probably leave negative, like, reviews just out of fucking spite, good fucking riddance. This kind of developer doesn't need you, and the gaming industry doesn't need you.
Yes, man. Right. Brett, just a little correction. You wanted to use the word douchebaggery. Just make sure that douchebaggery. Okay, but here's the thing, though. You weren't here when I said this. This is the answer. This is the reason they're so mad, because ammo has just been taken away from the little bullshit console war. This was something they were going to use against PlayStation guys. Oh, we have Quantum Break. What do you guys have? Now that they can't say that, they're fucking pissed. That's the thing that's going on here. And it's fucking dumb. So this goes beyond we don't want them to have it. And there is a part of that, too, because they're like, oh, we don't want these PC. Why the fuck do these PC guys get the shit that we get for free? We have to pay for Xbox Live. Why the fuck do they get it? There's that shit going on, too. But on top of that, it's really about the console war. These guys just lost an entire battalion of fucking troops. That's how they feel right now. It's fucking mind-boggling.
Well, it kind of, like, it's very straight-up elitism. They want to be the ones at the top of the pile. All right, they want to be seen and admired, and like that's what fucking elitism is. And then you close the doors behind you. It is a non-inclusive mindset that has just led to historical asshattery abounds. Like,
Yes.
pretty much, you can link elitism to pretty much just about any shitty thing that's ever fucking happened. So realize when you carry the banner of elitism, you run the ranks of, and yeah, I'm gonna fucking go here because it's the internet. You run in the ranks of Stalin, Putin, and Hitler. So I fucking hope you're happy with yourself for your blind fucking allegiance, because that's not how you do things. You're supposed to be having open discourse. You're supposed to be loving this thing that we all do. But that's the thing. And we talk all the time about what makes you a gamer. I'm going to say it here and now. This makes you not a gamer because you don't fucking care about the game. You have lost sight of the original purpose of the device and since just degraded into fanboyism. I was telling Tony earlier today, it's like an analogy like, oh, I want smoothies. I want to have the best smoothies ever. So I'm going to go out and I'm going to buy like a Smoothie King 9000, this little smoothie blender that you know, does fucking everything to the tits and makes great fucking smoothies. But then this other brand comes out. I know they've got titanium blades and they've got a grill on the front and LEDs off the side. The whole thing lights up. You know what? It doesn't make a better fucking smoothie, and that's the point of the whole thing. You are now a blender aficionado. You now care about blenders. That's fine. You can be a hardware aficionado, which strikes me as weird, being a hardware aficionado, that you choose the least capable hardware, but that's fine. To each their own. So, like, you could be a hardware aficionado, but you're not, at this point, you're not a fucking gamer. You may game, but you don't give a fuck about the games. All you care about is being the gamer. And I fucking run into this shit so many times, all the way back to my punk rock days. Just because you put up a mohawk and fucking strap on some wristbands doesn't make you fucking punk rock, right? It doesn't. Yeah. You have to hold true to the ideals. It's what's inside. You can't just come with this shallow facsimile and be like, look at me, guys, I'm part of a group. I get it. You want social acceptance. I get it. You've kind of blended into the herd of a bunch of irrational, angry douchebags, and as long as they're throwing stones at somebody else, you're not getting stones thrown at you. But you know what? You're part of an angry fucking mob. And as somebody whose family invented lynching, literally invented throwing motherfuckers out of a window and hanging them till they're dead, I'm telling you, your angry mob is unwarranted.
You know, man, yeah, exactly. It's the thing. But you're right, though, and I'm glad you touched on that because that's what it's gone to now. We're not talking about the game now. We're talking about the fucking hardware. It's like, when did it stop being about the game? Because, you know, maybe I'm too logical or something here, but it's like, I have the game. Other people are going to get to play the game. That's a good thing. But they've literally said, I don't want these PC guys touching my shit. I don't want to play with PC guys. I'm not saying this as a hypothetical. I've heard them say this. You know,
apparently they don't want a sequel to a game they want to buy, which totally makes fucking sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's the other thing. I mean, you know, I don't understand what the disconnect is. Essentially, the Xbox is a PC.
Thank you.
Why are they angry about Microsoft, who also has a PC gaming business? You know, to be honest, I don't understand why Microsoft never did these sorts of things in the past with the original Xboxes, with the original Xbox and Xbox 360.
They were trying to do it with the 360. They wanted to. They just couldn't.
So I mean, the thing is, it's like to me it makes a lot of sense. It's a game that was paid for by Microsoft. Why wouldn't it show up on all the Microsoft things? I mean, look at what Windows 10 is. Windows 10 literally has a Xbox section inside of it.
Right.
It's all Microsoft.
Yeah, Microsoft's trying to construct their own ecosystem. We've talked about this on the show many times about ecosystem. Steam has one, Apple has theirs, Google has theirs, Microsoft has theirs. This includes Xbox. PC and Xbox are essentially being unified. So of course they're going to port games in between the two, not to mention games are developed on PC. So the insanity of saying that, well, we don't want PC guys to play this game that was made on a PC is nuts. It's just mental.
It's weird to me that, like, it would seem that the community at large, right, like the best thing and the way that the industry has been growing is almost this Ready Player One kind of thing where, like, games are coming out, you're finding ecosystems that cross over. PC is playing with PS4 and Xbox and cross-platform play, and all these new things are coming out. The playing field is getting larger and more complex, and this should be a good thing, especially to people who play PC, who understand like open architecture and things like this, because it's going to create a very competitive open world where we can get a lot of really cool things. Now here's the problem. There are places like Microsoft and Sony and Nintendo There are guys sitting in boardrooms who don't understand the way that the future is coming at us. Hell, a lot of us don't understand the way that the future is coming. Very few of us can probably tell you with certainty where the industry is going to be 20 years from now. And the people sitting in those boardrooms are not that much fucking smarter than us, if at all. So what we have is nobody knows the direction that's going, and we're all taking fucking shots in the dark.
Yeah, oh, by the way, I need to welcome two very special guests who wanted to be on. Our brothers, Kahlief Adams and Cicero Holmes from Spawn on Me podcast. What is going on, fellas?
Hey, guys, I hear you guys are having a conversation about Quantum Break.
Yes, yeah. What's going on?
I heard Murdock through the internet.
Yeah. Okay, before we continue, how are you guys? What is going on, fellas?
We're chilling. We literally just finished wrapping our show, so we saw that you guys were wilding out about Quantum Break. We had to jump in.
we just finished wilding out, or at least I did.
Yeah, I mean, remember what I told you guys? I'm like, you guys are invited on anytime, and I meant that literally.
and we took you up on that.
Yeah, man. Okay.
Surprise guess or best guess?
Yes.
So I'm guessing you guys are on the same boat as us. It's like, this is really fucking stupid to be complaining about this. It's like, okay, you get it on PC, you get it on Xbox One. No one's losing out here. What the fuck?
Yeah, I see. You want to continue your rant from the other
show? I've got a little bit of gentleman jack in me, and it's making me feel less gentlemanly.
Awesome.
So I mean, the thing about this that I didn't understand, like I saw that there was kind of a kerfuffle this morning on Twitter, but I didn't know exactly what was going on. But I kind of ascertained as I pieced everything together and had a Kaiser Sose moment where it was like, oh, Quantum Break has been announced for PC, and people are kind of losing their shit. I thought it was like the small corner of the internet. But it turns out, no, it wasn't a small corner of the internet. They came out into the open and felt justified in getting upset because more people get to play a fucking game. And it's not even like the game is going from being a console exclusive to, it's lost its console exclusivity. It's still a console exclusive. It's going on more Microsoft platforms. It's another fucking Microsoft platform. Like, do you expect the company that spends millions of dollars to develop and publish a game not to put it on all of the platforms it has available to them?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, what kind of fucking sense does that make?
Yeah, I mean, as we talked about before, basically this all comes down to entitlement, right? They wanted to use this as part of their bullshit console war, right? That's their ammo, and they're like, hey, this is our game. You don't get to have it. It's ours. Microsoft owes it to us. Like, they don't owe you shit, guys. They do not owe you a fucking thing, Right. Kahlief, get in here, man. What are your thoughts?
The actual interesting thing is, I remember I kind of talked about this earlier, was at GDC this year, last year, Phil Spencer got on stage and he was like, hey, we're going to make this really cool platform that's going to be cross-compatible PC and Xbox. And everyone in the room who was in that room said that's going to be awesome because this means that everyone wins.
Yeah,
we get to play our stuff on both platforms. You can cross buy, cross play, and I don't understand where the fanboys in all of that lost the ability to kind of understand that you win. You fucking win. You get more choice.
But like I said, bro, it's entitlement, bro. They want it to themselves. Like Brett is like asshole, holding the toys for himself.
Here's the crazy thing about that, though. It's like the people who already have gaming PCs, they're super excited. The people who have Xboxes, they're not gonna. It's not like I can understand if they were like fighting for Linux or some shit.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Yo, Linux is my gaming platform. I want to rep for Linux." And how the hell does PC wind up getting this game while my Xbox does? You're gonna get it either way. You'll have a prettier version that you'll be able to play. I don't understand why people are wilding out.
Yeah, and here's the kicker. If you pre-order it on Xbox One, you get the PC version for fucking free.
What? Oh, then I definitely. So I was saying on our show that by the time Quantum Break releases, I should have a gaming PC, and I wasn't sure which one I'm going to get. Well, now I'm going to pre-order the Xbox version because I get them both.
I'm telling you, man.
It's like so. This is like you being hot, and then walking into an air-conditioned office, and then being mad because other people have also walked into that air-conditioned office.
Yes.
How does everybody get to be cool and shit like me?
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
That don't make no sense.
I was cool first. I was sent the email. I was the email that said there would be air conditioning. They said there would be air conditioning and open lot venues, and then they air conditioned the open lot venues, and now I'm not special anymore.
Right.
But here's a crazy thing too, and C kind of picked up on this earlier. Was this shows a vote of no confidence in Phil Spencer, which is weird because he was the cat. He's the cat who's done the most in the shortest amount of time to bring your console and platform back to a reasonable state. They're not going to catch up with PS4 anytime soon, but they have figured out a way to get to a reasonable spot where they can actually talk about their system, talk about the fact that they're doing fairly well in some aspects.
They're doing remarkably well. They're doing remarkably well.
And they have stuff coming. That's the crazy thing. They have stuff coming. It may not be great, but they have stuff coming.
So this vote of no confidence is coming from like a very vocal and mentally stable minority of Xbox fans. You know, and the problem is they're putting all the blame on Phil Spencer. At the end of the day, he runs Xbox, but Microsoft's a big global company. He's not the president of Microsoft. He doesn't make the decisions. It's like if it comes down from a diet that's like, hey, you know what? Hey, we run Windows 10s on everything. We should unify all these platforms. Phil, make it happen. Guess what? He's got to make it happen and make everyone understand that that's what's happening.
But it's not like that's a bad thing.
No, it's not. I'm not.
I mean, it's you know, like that's the thing that makes sense. Like, oh, hey, you guys are running this business. Let's make sure that all of the things that we have available for it are available for the business.
Yeah, and also the thing is, it's like, okay, we spent millions and millions of dollars to make this game, right?
Right.
Why wouldn't you want to max? Okay, there's not as many Xboxes as there are PlayStations, but there are a shitload of PCs out there.
Yeah,
Pretty much everybody in this room is using some sort of PC.
Yeah, here's the thing though. Just to be fair, I was reading this. I think EA put this out. They said there's an estimated 13 million super PCs out there. PCs that can actually run high-end games. So think about that. 13 million extra potential customers.
Exactly.
And then with Manny, what you said too. Think about, okay, if you guys saw the system requirements, they're fucking beefy. So, they spend money on this. They need to make that money back,
I'll tell you something else.
Go ahead.
Chris and I were watching YouTube while we were eating dinner, and I think we saw like 2 or 3 ads for Quantum Break.
Wow.
Before the video we were watching. They are sinking a ton of money into this game.
Yeah,
it's not even funny.
Yeah, the little cemetery scene, it's really filmed very well. And they're doing that interactive show as part of the game, right? It has a pretty much like at least a TV show budget going on for that part of. That's a whole separate thing from the game development.
The funny thing about that TV show is that it's what was it about it? I forget. I can't remember. I just lost
it was like the 22 minute cutscene basically that went back into your game. I heard that they cut some of the funding for that part of the studio, but I don't know if they're still
that's what it is. That is the last vestige of the TV talk from the Xbox thing. That was the one that was the poster child for the union of TV and video games.
Mm-hmm.
That's weird, because that's the one kind of thing a lot of people were like, I'm down with having a voice controlled computer in my living room.
Yeah, I do. I have one now. It's called an Xbox One.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why are they trimming down on those features?
But that Xbox One is now worthless, man. It's worthless. Throw that shit out.
So and that's the thing that kills me. Is like, I understand it's fun for entertainment value. This whole console war thing. But let's look at the Xbox One in a vacuum. In a vacuum. Mm-hmm. This is the greatest selling console that Microsoft has ever had, and it's not even close. It is outselling the Xbox 360, which was a remarkable success, by double-digit percentage points. So the fact that it's number 2 is it's just number 2. Like, Carl Lewis was the fastest man in the world, and Ben Johnson broke the world record. Carl Lewis was just faster than him.
Yeah, but that wasn't on steroids, though.
Well, they were both on steroids. Everything's on steroids. What are you talking about?
Yeah, the Xbox 360 was number 2, mostly in last generation too. Because the Wii was way ahead.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. Because the
technically
Wii,
true.
right. The Wii was.
By the way, we have another special. Everybody's joining us tonight.
Right. There he is.
Shareef Jackson, man. What is up,
Yo.
man? Yes.
Yo.
Doing good, man.
So I'm guessing you have some thoughts about this whole. But I think we reached our limit too. There's like 10 people. Everybody's in this motherfucker.
Man, geez, everybody's talking about this shit. Might as well, if somebody drops out, we get Torrance in here too.
Oh, I want to get Torrance. Torrance had a look on his face through Twitter. I can see it. I was like, yo. Go ahead, Reef.
Yeah, Reef. What's up? Yeah, dude, this is the first time I'm actually talking to you because we always talk on Twitter and shit. I'm talking about like voice and stuff, This is great.
Yeah,
Say
man,
something, bro.
This is real life. This is real life, man. I got the regular voice going for y'all. So it's good.
So yeah, give me your thoughts on this whole Microsoft quantum break shit. Fanboys, all that stuff, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, fanboys suck. I mean, that's basically what it is, man. Like, I'm a primarily PC gamer. Like, I do, I have my consoles as well. But I just don't think that, if a game comes out on Windows and Xbox, and Microsoft is a company that's trying to push Windows 10 and their consoles, I don't think it should be a big deal. I mean, I think that you can still hold it as a console exclusive. You can still be a Xbox One fan and still be proud that you have like a game that is coming to Microsoft consoles first. But you should never have any. You really shouldn't compare it to the PC side. Like, it just adds additional stress, and it just gets into this whole about gaming being more of a race between who gets what first, as opposed to just being a gamer and just playing what's out there.
Actual games. What happened to that?
Yeah. So I mean, it's all garbage. But I'm happy because I don't have an Xbox, but I do have a gaming PC, so I'll be playing Quantum Break.
There you go.
Here's the thing that strikes me as weird, and I'm gonna call out Chris on this one.
Uh-oh.
Because I know Chris's love of the Souls series. Hey, Chris.
Chris, unmute yourself, man.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Okay, Bloodborne, PlayStation exclusive, right?
Yep.
How'd you feel about that?
I was fine.
Okay.
I have a PlayStation, so I'm okay.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And then the next game, oh my God, it's going to be on Xbox too. The next game from Software, Dark Souls 3. They're letting the people on Xbox play your next Souls game. How do you feel about that?
I feel exactly the same. I really don't care. It's like, I'm going to get to play it, so whatever. I'll enjoy it anyway. Like, I know I'll play wherever my friends are. That's what I've always said. Like, I have tons of buddies on PSN. People who have moved over, by the way, who I had a lot of buddies on Xbox Live moved over to PSN. That's where I play, so that's where I'm going to play Dark Souls 3. Who knows? Everyone should play it. Like, I don't care where you play it, PC, you play it in your bathroom, I don't give a shit. Like, enjoy it. Like, I'm going to enjoy it on my PlayStation.
Ladies and gentlemen, a reasonable and adult answer.
Yes.
I had another thing, too, that I was thinking about that really bothered me was these guys are upset, and meanwhile, Microsoft is dumping all this money. One of you guys touched on this before, but they're dumping all this money, and these same guys would be screaming if Microsoft turned around and said, well, we only had it out on Xbox, it didn't do that well, we're not going to pursue this IP anymore, no more. We're just not going to do it anymore. These same guys would be screaming about it because they want their exclusive. So it's like, you really can't have it both ways. You can't say, like, oh, I want this exclusive. Meanwhile, there's a lot less Xboxes out there than,
See,
PCs.
here's the scary part. I think some of these guys would actually want that to happen. Let the ship burn, like cut your nose to spite your face, just so the other guys can't get the game.
Oh, they love being martyrs, for sure. They love it, but it's just frustrating to me that I think some of them would probably be, like, screaming about the fact that you don't get any more of this game.
Yeah, but they don't have to worry about losing their job. Guys like Phil Spencer, I'm pretty sure he likes his job. I'm pretty sure he can't let that happen. I'm pretty sure he probably looked at numbers for Rise of the Tomb Raider and go, gee, you know what? Maybe locking that down wasn't a good idea. Maybe we should, yeah. Hey, what? We have a gaming console and PCs that run the same exact operating system and both use DirectX 12. Well, gee, maybe they should share the same games. Wow, what a radical business decision that was.
Right, it's not like we haven't seen stupid decisions like that in the past, where it's like, oh, we got to make this exclusive, and then it doesn't do well, and I just from a business point of view, it makes perfect sense to put it on the PC as well.
I think it goes back to a little bit of what Tony said specifically about kind of this me version of that, but I think it also goes to the ignorance of most consumers. When you don't know how hard it is to make a game and also the capitalistic kind of needs that go along with that, you make stupid decisions and stupid comments like these that come out and kind of get pushed out further. It's stupid that people just don't understand money in that way. I'm just like, do you not understand money? It's money.
Yeah. And then again, it's like, guys, you're still getting the game. That hasn't changed at all. Nothing has changed from the time they announced the game. You thought it was cool to now. No difference.
I have a question.
Feel less special. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it makes them
it's fucking retarded, though. It's like, come on, man. Fuck you, man.
All
Go
right,
ahead.
so I have a question. Is there such a thing as white privilege for gamers? Because this screams like this is exactly what white privilege is about. Like, oh, these other people are getting things that I used to get all the time. Like, do we have that for gaming now?
I don't think that's as much any kind of privilege as it is just basic classism at work, man. It's the haves don't want the have-nots to have. It's simple as that. That's kind of part of human nature.
Sounds kind of like white privilege to me, but I'll leave that for Spawn on me.
Well, I mean, these Xbox, gamers, they don't really have any privilege. Like they bought the 500, 400, whatever it costs now, Xbox One, and they don't own. Like, they don't get paid for Quantum Break. They don't own any of these IPs. Xbox can do whatever they want with them.
Yeah, I chalk it up to pure entitlement. That's all it is. Bunch of fucking babies. I don't know. You had some heavy questions there, sister. I don't know if I could answer them right now. But yeah, there's definitely some kind of entitlement thing going on. It's like, this is ours. Because remember, these guys have been saying, oh, we've been through with Xbox since day one. We've gone through the long haul. How dare you do this? So they feel betrayed.
How does that make any sense? I've owned every Xbox console myself. I'm not sitting there like, gee, Microsoft, you let me down. It's like, no, they didn't. They've been entertaining me for many, many years. They came out there a young company. Oh, well, Nintendo's a different story. Don't get me started.
We had this conversation earlier about
it's built on the same components, though. Like, you can support a company for a very long time and then disagree when they change directions, obviously, and very clearly say, well, you're not necessarily the group that we're aiming for. Like, you can feel betrayed, and this may be like built out of the same stuff, but it's so much smaller that it can be compared to splitting hairs. So I'm not saying that this is justified or understandable in any way. It's made out of that same kind of component.
Right, but Nintendo's completely out of touch. And believe me, a lot of these guys should consider themselves lucky that Xbox has this much transparency that you could contact Phil Spencer online and maybe he'll answer you, right? You try to contact Reggie online and tell him how dissatisfied you are with the state of the Wii U or anything else. He'll laugh in your face if you can even find his phone number.
He could shoot a
I
stab
guarantee
you.
that because I used to work there and that stuff happened. So,
real quick, because we've hit the limit here. We want to welcome Mr. Parris Lilly from Gamertag Radio. What's going on, brother?
Hey, what's going on? You guys hear me all right?
Yeah, we good.
Yeah.
Bro.
All right, good.
It's funny because we wanted to have you on a couple weeks ago, right? But you were busy and stuff. But it's pretty cool that we're here. We still need to get you on for a proper interview, man.
No doubt, man. Thanks for having me on. I was just looking at the Twitters, and all of a sudden I'm seeing people, hey man, let me in. I'm like, well, shit, let me in too.
Yeah, for anybody watching live, that's it. The door is fucking closed. So, Parris, man, because I know you were having fun with this shit too, man. What are your thoughts on this bullshit that was going on with these fanboys?
Man. So Danny, because he's on Gamertag Radio, Godfrey, he in our private chat, he shot a link. He was like, yo, check out Phil Spencer's Twitter. I go on Phil Spencer's Twitter, and I'm like, Phil, why are you engaging this dude? Why are you talking about this? This is ridiculous. I mean, how is giving a free copy of Quantum Break on the PC a bad thing for anybody? right? If anything, it's going to incentivize a PC gamer. Like, you know what? Why not just get the Xbox One version? Because I'm going to get the PC version for free anyways. And if I don't own an Xbox One already, hey, maybe I'll go buy an Xbox One now and put it in my living room or something. You know what I mean? I don't see what the negative thing is about it. It's a good thing. If anything, this is the one strategy Microsoft can leverage right now against PlayStation, because they can say, you know what? All our first-party titles, all the exclusive titles, we can now put those on Windows 10 as well, so they can get PC gamers into that Xbox ecosystem. It's a good thing.
Yeah, Portal 2 did it for PlayStation. Yeah. Everybody was fucking ecstatic.
Yeah, I'm going to get to PlayStation in a bit, but here I'm going to answer your question directly. Here's what's going on, okay? Because these guys feel that the Xbox One should be a system on its own, right? You know, like the game shouldn't go there, you know? And again, like I said before, this is all part of the console war, right? These guys want to win against PlayStation 4 for whatever fucking reason, right? So they just feel like they've lost some ammo now. That's what they don't have that bragging right anymore. That's what it's really about. And if that's the reason, which it is the reason, it is really fucking dumb. Because it's like, guys, no one's taking your fucking game away from you. You still get to play Quantum Break. It's just you get more people playing the game. And you might even get a sequel now, you know? But no, they don't care about that. They want to see the fucking shit burn. I mean, you've seen all the things that were saying, oh, you know, we've been with this console since day one, and you guys betrayed us, you know? Like, buying this console. Are you fucking kidding me? You know?
You know what the best part is, though, out of all that? It's still not coming to PlayStation 4, so the PlayStation 4 fanboys still, like, can't say, oh, well, it's coming to PC now. Like, but they probably, like, if you're a hardcore PS4 fanboy, you probably don't have a PC, so you still can't play Quantum Break.
Yeah.
But I also think at the same time, PlayStation, like most PlayStation owners, don't get that nutty about that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there isn't that like core base like I haven't seen like a community on PS4 that's like Crack Gamer and Zaire and all that.
Yeah, like in other words, people that are angry, literally. I mean, with all the with that price BS that happened with PlayStation, yes, it did sour it for a lot of people. But the thing is that they weren't freaking yelling at Yoshida on Twitter or any of the social media that, you know, you made this thing too expensive or anything like that. And it, you know, essentially what happened is a lot of them just continued to play their games, and then yes, it eventually did something better. So
that's the thing I want to jump on, because everybody was saying, it's like, oh, if this happened with Uncharted, PlayStation guys would be going mad. No, because it's already been happening with PlayStation 4 games all generation, and no one's giving a shit, you know?
What I don't understand is this disproportionate reaction to this news today. You would think, like, I remember some odd years ago, about 2001 or 2002, when Sega said they were out of the console market, I didn't feel like throwing myself out the window, so I don't know how these Xbots would react if Phil Spencer today had said that Xbox is no longer if Microsoft's no longer in the console market. If you reacted this tragically to the news that PCs are getting Quantum Break, then I shudder to think how you'd react if he had said today instead that Microsoft is no longer in the console market, right?
Probably delete their accounts.
Yeah, the funny thing is, I'm glad you mentioned that, because that's exactly what this dude was saying. He's like, this is leading towards Microsoft getting away from the console side. It's like,
that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
I mean, they were in the PC gaming business long before they were in the console business.
And the Xbox One is selling, like, I know it's losing this quote unquote war, but they're selling like crazy. Like this generation in general is selling consoles like crazy.
You know what kills your platform is when you don't buy games for it.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think what a lot of people are missing today is Phil Spencer told everyone this back at E3. The Xbox One is now a Windows 10 device.
Exactly.
Right? So why wouldn't you leverage the Xbox One as a Windows 10 device and have all your exclusive games across all your Windows 10 platforms? It just makes common sense. Why not do that? Someone on Twitter, I don't know who it was, made the great point that the Xbox One is now a mid-spec Windows 10 PC, and that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's for someone that doesn't want to mess around with a PC and look, Tony, you just did it. You just threw a whole bunch of money at building a high-end PC. I mean, the specs to play Quantum Break on the PC is freaking ridiculous. The PC I just built last year can barely run it at the recommended specs, and that's crazy. So if you don't want to spend that kind of cash, you go get an Xbox One, and you're still having the same experience. It just, hey, look, it just might be a 900p. That's all. You know, other than that, it's gonna be fine.
That's outrageous, Parris. 900p.
Yeah, no, but again, the specifications for this are nuts. Because again, I just got this beast PC, and I'm like, I could just barely run this shit, you know.
Dude,
so
it like requires more than Oculus, like a 980 Ti for recommended.
Yeah.
Really?
Bizarre.
Yeah.
Oh man, I haven't even checked that shit out.
Well, that's the recommended though. That's not even the highest.
That's not even max.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
They need to go
yeah,
back.
that's
to time.
recommended specs is a 980 Ti, which is insane. I just bought a 980 last year, and you already telling me, oh, that ain't good enough.
and then 16 gigs of RAM. It's like, what game uses up that much fucking?
Wait a
RAM?
minute.
Did you just say
16
16 gigs of RAM?
16
in the
gigs of RAM is the
recommended
recommended?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
recommended. The minimum
Holy
thing.
shit.
That PC better give me a lap dance. 16 gigs of RAM.
And my laptop, I just bought this last year. I can't even do Oculus Rift on it, but that's the quantum break thing.
Dude,
Yeah.
I'm thinking of the new PCs. It's probably gonna be like some circular like tower that belts steam and glows red like something out of a Sith starship, about the size of a washing machine.
Yeah, right. It's just gonna keep getting bigger and bigger, right? Remember how computers were getting smaller and smaller? Nope. Now we're going back to bigger again.
It's gonna be like a computer the size of an apartment with punch cards. Like That'd be awesome.
Yeah, just a whole wall, just it's a giant monitor like a starship side. We just walk up to the computer and you have all these console panels around. You know, I'm liking this idea. I'm on board actually.
All right, I think we pretty much said what we need to say. Anybody have any final thoughts on this?
I do want
Fuck
to say
you
one thing.
idiots who feel that way. Fuck you.
One last thought, really quick. Xbox fans are going to be real mad when HoloLens goes to PC.
Brett, go ahead, man.
I find it very interesting. XCOM 2 just came out on PC, and there's not a whole lot of backlash towards getting it on consoles. In fact, there's petitions for it to get on consoles. There's not petitions to keep it off of consoles. So I just want to really display the fact that like everywhere else in this little microsystem, like people are behaving themselves, and they're not really being assholes. So it's not really unexpected to believe that this group of people should shore their fucking shit up. And the biggest reason is because you guys all forget it's not us versus us, right? These companies aren't here necessarily because they're our friends, right? You look at the cable companies, given any big corporation given enough time and money is going to stack the cards against us, okay? And we're entering a new age with indie platforming and crowdfunding and greenlighting games that we have more control than ever over the market. And like I was saying before, nobody knows what's going to happen with that. And in response, people like Xbox and Sony, they want to hold to the old standards. They want to hold to the exclusives. They want to maintain control of the market, but that's not necessarily good for us, the customers. So what I find really tragic about this is it's not even like we're trapped in the big company's machine. They're handing us the cinder blocks, and we're literally building a prison that is going to influence the way the industry works for the next 20 years. You don't get a shakeup like this often. I've been gaming for 27 years. And this is the first time I've ever seen a shakeup like this rock the industry to its fundamental core. And we need to take advantage of that and not spend our time infighting over stupid, petty bullshit because you want to have something a little shinier than the guy next to you. Like, we're supposed to be gamers. We're supposed to come from a group of people that at one point, and maybe it's just that some of you are too young. Back in the day, like, some of us were a little disenfranchised, where we're a little on the fringe, Yeah. And being a gamer was about kind of being a nerd. Being a nerd was kind of about being a nice guy, giving a handout to your buddy because you share something in common. So let's just stop all this petty bullshit, get back to where we need to be, and maybe we can leverage the whole gamer sphere and leave it a little bit better place than we found it instead of trying like hell to prove this whole, gamers are dead article was a prophecy in hindsight.
That's a great point, man. That leads to another thing. I don't know if I want to touch on this, but it's the whole thing of like, is it because gaming has become so big and popular that we get shit like that? Because before it was a smaller group, you know. So even when we had disagreements, we still go to your buddy's house and play his system, even if you hated Sega or Nintendo. That's not around anymore. So I'm wondering if the mainstreaming of gaming has caused some of this. I mean, granted, I still maintain that the real reason for all this is the fucking internet. Internet's just
Yeah.
That's what I was about to say. It's really the amplification of a vocal minority. And, it started with comment sections and stuff, and now it's really social media. Like if somebody yells loud enough and they get a crowd of people, that's going to drown out the millions of people that are happy because they're just playing their games and not shouting about it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, though. I'm pretty sure most of the majority of people who heard this news were like, cool, that's cool. Okay, fine. Let me go play my games, right? But they're not talking. They're not being heard, because they're busy playing their games.
It goes back to kind of what Murdock said, and it's one of those interesting things that people really just don't remember is we live in some really awesome times.
Yes.
If you we're older enough to remember when it was like super old and you had one game that you got per month, maybe per couple of months or whatever. We live in fucking amazing times right now. As people have been complaining about stuff like this, it really just shows that folks are just not old enough to have the perspective to really wrap their brains around it. And it's totally that. It's totally that.
I was about to say, like pick your fights. Like, out of all the things going on in the game industry right now, out of all the ways that as gamers we're getting screwed, like season passes and all this other bullshit, like, pick your fights. This is not the thing to be arguing about. They're giving you something for free. Like, give it a rest, guys. This is not the thing to be arguing about.
No, I can give you a perfectly valid thing to argue about. I've been on a group of people who have been on the hate bandwagon for XCOM because they introduced timed DLC missions. You know what? I'm not buying that fucking game until they mod that shit out. And that's going to send a very clear message to the publishers when they make XCOM 3. Leave the fucking timed content missions out of this goddamn game. And you know what? They'll probably do it. So that's how I sit.
Exactly. That's what I mean. It's like there are actual things to be upset about. This should not be one of them.
Yeah, man, it's just insane. But Twitter was, again, very, very entertaining today. I didn't leave Twitter today. I was parked on Twitter with popcorn, just taking it all in, man. All right, let's move on here. Bananas. Yeah, it was ridiculous, man. All right, so let's move on to some news here. By the way, this usually becomes the news on a Thursday when it drops. No one talked about it. January NPDs. Usually, like, people talk about NPDs, no one says shit about NPDs. But then again, NPDs were kind of boring. Same old shit, right? PlayStation beat out Xbox. Nobody's giving out exact numbers. Grand Theft Auto's back there again. It's like, okay, it's crazy. But I'm going to go with what Brett said about Grand Theft Auto because we're trying to figure out, why is Grand Theft Auto always there? And he's like, because a 16-year-old is, there's a new 16-year-old every single day. And what do they want? When they turn 16, they want Grand Theft Auto. So that's why you got that,
I would say that actually, you know what? They have another good part of that, though. They are constantly upgrading their online stuff.
They are for free.
They are feeding their online content like no other game has done in a long time. That's another reason that they're doing well on that end.
Yeah, exactly.
I have a perfect example, and I have a room here full of people, so this will be good. Who here just fucking loves vanilla? I mean, just tits out over vanilla. Like, you see some vanilla, you're like, oh, fuck yeah, I am on that shit.
Right here. That's my favorite. Yeah.
I'm lactose intolerant.
Okay, fair enough. But my point is that generally speaking, a lot of people aren't going to go for like plain vanilla. Like, that's not the single most impressive flavor, but it's kind of mainstream. It's the single default flavor, right? It's the thing that you have, and then you can build things, other stuff on top. Like, oh, I like vanilla ice cream, but maybe I like peanut butter cups or Snickers on it, or maybe some chocolate sauce or cherries or something like that, right? And that's what GTA is. It's the game that you buy with the system. You're like, okay, I'm going to pick up this game I'm playing about, this game I'm really excited about, and GTA to kind of fill out the stack.
That's one way of saying it. Yeah, because you know what? That's a good point. Because I'm always like, hey, if I'm gonna have a console, I need a GTA. When GTA was announced for PS4, right? I already had it for PS3. I'm like, but I need it for PS4 because Grand Theft Auto needs to be on a console at home, So you got a point there, Oh man. So anyway, as usual, let's run down the top 10 here. Surprise, surprise! Call of Duty Black Ops 3 came in at number 1. Grand Theft Auto number 2. NBA 2K number 3. Star Wars went down a little bit. Number 4. Fallout is still in there. Minecraft inexplicably is still there. I guess because a 5-year-old, I don't know, whatever. Kids love that shit. Rainbow Six Siege is there for some reason. NFL is still there. Lego Marvel Avengers and FIFA. The same old shit. So maybe that's why no one talked about it.
I kind of take exception to the fact that you said Rainbow Six Siege is there for some reason.
Yeah, I don't. I play the game. I don't get it, man. Even Chris was like, "What is this?" It's a thinking man's shooter. So I don't know what that says. I don't know what that says about you guys, but actually, it's not that. Here's what I went in there. I'm playing. I'm like, okay, you get to defend your base and shit. You get to that's not what happened in the games I played. Everybody ran around shooting each other.
Yeah, that was my experience. It was like, okay, guys, let's breach this way, whatever. Everybody ran in their own direction. I think one guy just stayed in the courtyard. And I'm like, I realized we have to breach the house, right? The house is right there. We have to pick a point and go it together. Let's make a no, everybody's going there. Okay. And that was my Rainbow Six Siege experience.
Yeah, the point I decided to stop was like, okay, we got to board the house up. I put something up, and then my own teammate tears it down. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, stop.
Hey, Tony.
Yeah.
Have you noticed a theme in the games up there, though?
Being besides sports?
No.
None of them are exclusive.
Well, no, not even that. They're all kind of back burner games. Like they're all side. If you took games and split them categorically up into like narrative and experience or activity, like a repeated activity, like a football is an activity or soccer is an activity. Therefore, arena mode in Gears of War, kind of an activity. All of these games qualify as activity, which puts them firmly in that here's a filler game I can play until the next game I'm really excited about. Fallout may be the exception, but I think the reason it's still selling is I know a lot of people who finish the campaign a couple times and they just kind of dick around with it for months and months and months and months. Call of Duty, it's an activity. It's essentially a repeatable. It's half a degree away from sports. Grand Theft Auto, wander around and kill stuff, kill some time. NBA, actual sports game. Star Wars Battlefront, almost practically a sport. Fallout, wander around and dick around. Minecraft, wander around and dick around. Rainbow Siege, essentially almost a sports game. Madden NFL actually is a sports game. Marvel Avengers, wander dick around. FIFA is a sports game.
Yeah, it's a great point. I didn't think about that. Yeah, filler games until actual stuff comes out, I guess.
The other interesting thing is, look at the #1 game, obviously Black Ops 3. Mm-hmm. For those of you who don't know how NPD works, in the parentheses they have the consoles.
Yes.
The first console listed is the one that sold the most. Again, now this is at retail, so these aren't digital downloads. But for Black Ops 3, which got a huge push on the PlayStation 4, Sony, of course, it's exclusive time release content on the PlayStation 4. Xbox One is the lead console at retail for Black Ops 3. Also interesting is Star Wars Battlefront, the other really big shooter. That came out in the last 3-4 months. Also on the Xbox One, it's leading on the Xbox One. Rainbow Six Siege, the other shooter, is also leading on the Xbox One. I just think that's kind of interesting. And then Minecraft, lead platform is the 360 for retail, and then the Xbox One. So both Microsoft consoles are beating out Minecraft in terms of beating out Sony in terms of where people are playing Minecraft. I don't know who's still buying Minecraft on the 360, but they are.
Yeah, I'd argue all the games you listed are legacy Xbox Live games. So the majority of consumers, when they go to pick that up, they're going to pick up the Xbox version to play with their buddies on Xbox Live.
Not so much Battlefront. But I would agree with you on Call of Duty, definitely. I mean,
that's
the last 6-7 years, and then Rainbow Six, most people played that on Xbox Live.
Well, I think the Xbox fan base is just more into shooters, like they have Halo.
I think that is right, which also kind of leads credence to the thing that we spent the last 45 minutes talking about, which is apparently Xbox gamers are a little immature and don't think about things rationally.
You know what I find actually really interesting is the average Xbox gamer is in his early 30s, but the marketing campaign for Xbox markets for like 16 to 22.
Right, because that is the maturity level of the average Xbox gamer. Unfortunately, and I am, like my lead console is the Xbox One. It is the console I use every single day. I am a proud supporter of the Xbox One. It is my console of choice. Unfortunately, I mean, you got to call a spade a spade.
You bring up a more interesting question, though. I think when you bring up those numbers about, we see that these lead games in the NPDs are being bought the most on the Xbox, but we know, thanks to EA, PlayStation 4 is pretty much outselling Xbox One 2-1 at this point. Right. So what the hell are they buying on PlayStation to play then?
Nothing. Nothing. I mean, clearly they're playing 2K. People are buying 2K.
Here's the thing that you need to keep in mind. Remember, NPDs only show retail for America.
No, understood.
Doesn't count digital. Because remember, the same thing was happening with Destiny, right? Destiny was selling more on PlayStation 4, but you didn't see that in NPDs. NPDs said Xbox One was selling more because they don't count digital, they don't count worldwide. So we got to keep that in mind. But but it still does speak to what the American Xbox, audience wants, And I think you're right. The legacy Xbox Live guys just went on Xbox One, which makes sense. But it's interesting. But again, NPDs, I don't know why they don't. It's like 2016 now, right? Start talking about digital. I know digital only accounts for 20%, but it's growing all the time.
I think it's more than 20% nowadays.
Yeah, go ahead, Ben.
Just something I've noticed as a tattoo artist, because I have a very clear finger on the pulse of when people have money and when people don't. A tattoo tends to be a luxury item that falls in the same veins as video games. So I can tell you that people have a lot less disposable money from the beginning of January through about the middle of February. That's because they're tapped out from the holiday season, they're paying back their bills, they're paying off the shit that they bought for Christmas, and they're worried about the tax time coming up. Now, you see people actually get a boon around the middle of February towards the end of February, which in this instance closely coincides with a lot of games being released in March. So I would wager that a majority of gamers don't have a whole lot of extra money right now, and the money that they do, they're setting aside for some of these big upcoming games, The Division, for instance.
Yeah, and remember, this is January's NPD, so I guess maybe February's. But then again, February is going to have a lot of games. I'm assuming things are going to be shooken up in the NPD section,
Oh, yeah. But from what I found, there's not a whole lot of luxury earmarked money rolling around in a lot of people's pockets in January, despite how much money you make. And that's because, a lot of people go all out for the holidays. If you make a lot of money, you spend a lot of money on Christmas, and you still have to recover in January. So it affects all levels of income. Yeah, my poorest clients drop out in January. My richest clients drop out in January.
So it's all across the board then, huh?
Mm-hmm. It'll pick up, though.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on here. This one made Emilio here very sad. GameTrailers, they're done. They closed up shop.
I wouldn't say I'm very sad. I would say that I just toss great GameTrailers on just in the background to just have something to listen to. I mean, I don't know. That's all I would do. I mean, it's not like I really cared about their reviews.
Yeah, I was busting your chops, but the thing is, okay, GameTrailers, all this stuff you see now, right? You see, obviously like streams, all this video content. They were kind of the pioneers of it 13 years ago, right? Nobody was really doing video game content. People weren't doing much video content back in the day either, This was before YouTube, before all this stuff, right? So, and the thing is, this came inexplicably. Even the employees were like, whoa, What happened? Like, it just came out of nowhere. Pretty shocking, but, from my thing, I'm not surprised either. Kind of irrelevant now. Even though they started all this, everybody's doing it now. They're not doing anything special.
I also think they found it difficult to stay pretty relevant within it. I mean, I don't, not not to bash them a little, but I have to say that they didn't really have any of those personalities. Like all those things that they had, those little shows about, they had what's his face, the guy, the analyst guy that came on there. You haven't
Michael
seen one of
Pachter,
those.
yeah.
Michael Pachter hadn't been on there for a long time. They hadn't done any of those things with Keeley, and he has a panel of a bunch of people from others different sites. They haven't done those things in a long time, and all they were just sticking to were these kind of dry, personalities that they have on their channel.
Yeah. I mean,
And I feel like
I
that.
haven't watched them in years either. It's like I like the retrospectives they used to do back in the day.
Yeah.
Like the history, that was cool. But I even got bored with bonus round. Even when they had all the main dudes, it just got silly after a while.
Yeah, but I mean, still, like they didn't continue to keep up with that sort of stuff, trying to keep people out, keep attracting new viewers. At this point in time, they were just kind of coasting. And I also may feel that it may have to do with the fact that they were bought by that other company.
Yeah, Defy Media, and they own Escapist too.
Yeah, so I'm thinking now if you look at any of Escapist content, they kind of cross over with a lot of what GameTrailers does. So I'm thinking what's really happening here is that all their GameTrailers guys or any of their video guys are probably going to go over to Escapist, or they're just going to get rid of most of those guys. They're just kind of putting it into one.
Yeah, all right. Who else used to watch GameTrailers a lot back in the day?
Well,
I'm sorry, man.
I haven't really watched. Like, I know them. I don't really know anybody from there. But when I saw the tweet, I kind of got a little upset because whenever you see like a company that's like from your dream job like close down, and it's like it's kind of like, oh shit, like there's probably people there that are like losing their jobs and now they're out of work out of nowhere.
Me and Tony had, we talked with a couple of the GameTrailers guys, and what was the guy that we talked
Daniel
with?
Kaiser. Yeah,
Daniel Kaiser, yeah. Like, I don't know, well, he hasn't worked there in years, but I mean,
Right.
good, good dude, really, not like, good personality and, good dude to, talk to at those shows, and it's a shame to see the site go, but, that's one of those things that happens.
The worst part of it all is they found out they were closing that morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. They open up their Twitter and it's like, what? I'm fired? What the fuck?
Right. Like, oh, hey, you wake up, you jump on your computer, like, yeah, we're going to do some wild shit today as GameTrailers, and then you find out, oh, yeah, this is the last day you're going to be doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I remember.
Did they offer the guys a severance package?
No, I don't know yet. Shareef, go ahead, man.
Yeah, they were one of my early go-tos for like E3 video coverage. I remember them being like one of the first sites that I went to that really had a lot of consistent high-def E3 stuff back before a lot of other places were really streaming from there. So yeah, I just remember them being around like for a long time. So yeah, it's I mean, sites close and they come and go. Dan is going to continue to do like dope things as hopefully the other people there will as well. But it's always sad to be, like a little piece of like gaming history, I guess.
Yeah, it's a good point. Exactly. Brett, what you saying?
I'm sorry.
Who's talking?
I was just asking if they got severance, like because like being cut off on no notice is bad, but if they they still got a couple weeks, couple months pay to find new jobs, that would be a whole nother thing. So I'm curious as to
if they did. I don't know. I really don't know that they did. No one really reported that. I know some guy at Nintendo was offering jobs to all. It's like everybody got fired. Come work for us. Something like that. But it's crazy and it's scary too. Imagine whatever site you're working on could just be gone the next day. Because remember, these guys were working up until the end. They didn't know. They were just
They literally just uploaded the Firewatch and and another I think the
Unravel. I think.
Yeah, Unraveled and the zombie game that came out. Like they just did put up reviews for those things. Like not that far ahead of when that all happened.
Yeah, it's insane. Parris, get in here, man. What do you think about GameTrailers' demise?
Yeah, I mean, you guys pretty much touched on everything, but I would add to it by saying the thing I'm gonna miss is when Jeff Keighley used to do the bonus round. I used to watch it all the time. That was probably one of the the things of the last few years that kept me coming back to the site. But like you were mentioning earlier, they were the pioneers that kind of started all this. But now with YouTube, Twitch, and then you have the IGNs, the Polygons, the Giant Bombs, they all do their own video content now. And if you look throughout the years, a lot of the talent that's at these other sites now, they started at GameTrailers, and they kind of have filtered out to these other sites, and they're continuing to do their video content. So, I mean, yeah, they were the OGs. They got everything started, but just in the current technology we're in now and society we're in now with social media, GameTrailers kind of became redundant. It wasn't really a go-to place for your video game reviews and content anymore because you had like 20 other sites just like it.
Yeah, exactly. And it goes beyond professional guys too, even regular guys. Even what we're doing now, it's kind of the same wheelhouse, Everybody's doing their own video content, even if it's a small guy. So again, there's so many other resources for you to get video content that, again, GameTrailers sadly irrelevant, but that's just the truth. So hopefully a lot of these guys will be able to find jobs because it sucks, man. It fucking sucks. All right, just moving on here. So let's see what happens with this story. This might rile some people up. So there was a report out of Germany. I think this was going on for a few years now. So they concluded that playing video games doesn't make you sexist. Very shocking. It's just like we play a lot of violent video games. We don't go around murdering people. Yeah, duh. It doesn't make you fucking sexist. It's ridiculous. Like it's like the games can't influence you like that, man. Like unless you're already mentally unhinged or whatever.
You said the German studies said that it can't make you sexist, or
no, that it doesn't, not that it can't.
Okay, because when I heard you say it, I heard you say that it can make you sexist.
No, I mean, something can make you something, but it goes back to the thing. It's like with violent in video games, like, okay, why aren't we all murderers then? Because most people aren't crazy, You got to learn right from wrong and all that. Brett, I'm pretty sure you have some thoughts on all this. Brett, get in here, man.
Beep, beep, beep.
Oh, sorry, I was muted.
You were screaming into the microphone, weren't you?
What are you setting me off on exactly?
The whole. Okay.
Unchain the Brett.
Study finds games don't make people sexist. Shocking or not?
Okay, that's what I thought. It disappeared out of my note. Yeah, I thought we all fucking knew this. I actually want to point people to. There's a great Penn and Teller bullshit episode about violence in video games that pretty well sums up the whole thing. And one of the most touching points is they're talking to this little kid throughout the entirety of it, and how he plays video games all the time and he always kills these people, and they take him out to fire a real gun, and he fires a real gun, and the response of this cold, hardened, desensitized person who spends 60 hours a week shooting the faces off people was like he dropped the gun, cried, and ran to his mother. And the show kind of like pans out being like, well, there's your hardened, desensitized criminal in the making. It's beautifully put and argues better than I ever could. But the long and short of it is it's fucking ridiculous, and that we've always known that. This is something that's been repeated, like, books make people evil. They used to think books made people evil, and books were corrupting the youth. And then it was comic books, and then it was music, and then it was movies, and now it's video games. It's a trite, recycled thing that's at this point just kind of boring. Every time somebody's like, this thing has the devil in it. Like, as soon as VR comes out, somebody's gonna be like, VR is ruining our children because they can't distinguish between reality and VR. Really? Are they wearing a helmet? No? Then it's reality.
Yes.
Don't kill people there.
Yeah, exactly. It's everything. Every bit of new media that comes along becomes demonized before it becomes accepted.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, how long does the video games have to be around until that shit goes away, though? It's like
it's been 30 years now. Until the next thing comes out. It was just like, I mean, Judas Priest had to take his licks for explaining music. Ozzy had to take it, and now it's video games' turn, right? Now we have to take it. It's like, dude, we don't make violent killers. No, video games don't make you sexist. I don't know. Somebody want to talk to the parents? No? Okay. So whatever else comes out, VR and whatever the future is, brain implants, I don't know.
Harry Potter is the devil.
That's
That's all that needs to be said.
Hey, Kahlief, get in here, man. What do you say about all this?
I mean, it's the same thing. It's stupid. It doesn't really make that. It doesn't make sense. It's a dumb argument that people have been trying to make for a long time, and it's not that way. It's like winning the lotto. It's like they talk about when people have kind of ways of being, and it just makes you more of what that is when you get more money or you get more power, you get whatever. So if you're an asshole, you're gonna be an asshole with money. If you're a sexist, you're a sexist with video games. It doesn't make a difference.
That's a good point. Yeah, it's not gonna change you. You're still gonna be that same person no matter what. You know. Oh man! All right. Any other thoughts on this?
Yeah. Well, we started with talking about bullshit, Penn and Teller's bullshit. There was a bullshit episode about cursing and how cursing was bullshit. And back in Charles Dickens' day, humbug was a curse word.
I loved that episode.
So yeah. So when Charles Dickens wrote that Ebenezer Scrooge would say "bah humbug" all the time, he was a thug ass motherfucker. Again, it's all about the fact that it's the people that don't understand a medium are the ones that are telling everyone else that the medium is bad for you, because they don't because they don't understand it. And that's all it is.
I don't know, Tony, can we apply for a grant? Because some scientists got paid very well to discover this fact that we all know so well. So can we get a grant too?
Yeah,
video games don't make you violent. Guess what, guys? I'm perfectly well adjusted, and so is everyone here. Can I have grant money?
We can start our own study like video games don't make you racist, and there we go.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and we're gonna conclude that they don't.
Unless you're playing Call of Duty on Xbox Live.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
No, unless you're playing The Order and you don't like it.
Too soon.
Shots fired.
Too soon.
Shots fired, right?
We love you, hip hop, if you're listening.
Jumping on what Cicero said, though, it is that thing. It's like these guys that are, I'm just going to say, older people, right, that don't really get it. They're dictating all this. But in 40 years, it won't be that way because, the people they grew up with video games, Right.
Mm-hmm. We'll be complaining about other shit, like whatever the new shit is. We'll be the ones that are talking about how it's the devil.
I kind of.
I'm gonna be that asshole, aren't I?
Yep.
The devil. I don't know. The scary future would be like in my day. We just strapped this thing to our heads and looked through these visors. But you kids with this anal gaming system. I don't like that. I don't understand this thing. I think it's corrupting me.
Y'all put it in your butt, you crazy. But they're gonna think we're nuts, because we're shoving consoles up our butts.
Now you're playing power.
Go ahead, Kristin.
Oh, I was just going to say, I kind of feel that there are so many factors to a person's psyche and demeanor and everything. You're going to blame, if someone's sexist, you're really going to blame a form of entertainment they enjoy. There's so many factors. It's like you guys said, it's like, once upon a time it was books, and then it was certain genres of music. It's like, you could try being a parent too, that helps too, but to blame it on one form of media to explain someone's entire demeanor is kind of silly to me.
Yeah, as it should be to everyone. It's ridiculous. All right, let's move on here. Oh boy, all right, so apparently somebody put me onto this. There's a Twitter Safety Council, which is aimed at stopping people from harassing others, bullying, all that stuff, right? Or let people feel free to say what they think, or all that stuff. Pretty interesting if you see the panelists here. They're kind of, they're bomb throwers, some of them, right? And the reason I want to talk about this is it's just funny that this shit, and I'm making this personal now. It's funny that there's a group out there that's more like, hey, that's about, hey, we want you to feel safe saying what you want. Ironic because lately I've been feeling I can't say certain things on Twitter. Even when I want to say something about politics, I'm like, Tony, don't do it, Tony, don't do it. People are gonna come after you, bro. Just don't do it. You know, so Shareef, man.
Well, there's
hold on.
Oh,
Shareef, you got to bounce, right? So
Yeah,
thank you
I
for
gotta
being on,
bounce.
man.
later, man.
Thanks.
Yeah, later, man.
Yeah.
Later, y'all.
Bye.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Manny.
Well, you know, the thing about all that stuff is there's also certain no things that you just don't talk about. You don't talk about religion and politics because everybody's got an opinion on that, and you definitely get into some heated arguments about that stuff.
Yeah, but Manny, you and I had a very interesting, discussion about this. So say what you told me before.
Well, you know, the thing about, I can understand that, yes, there's a Twitter police now, right? But looking at a lot of the folks that are involved with it, a lot of them are very like-minded people. What if you have an opinion that's not popular?
Yeah.
And somebody starts to crucify you because you have this unpopular opinion. You know, like a hot button opinion, like, Gamergate stuff. Maybe you're an avid Gamergater type of person, and you have these beliefs. You're not that sort of person that kind of goes out there, attacking people, but you have these things to say. And then somebody comes over to your Twitter and starts attacking you. Would these people also go after the? Would they give this person who just so happens to be into this Gamergate stuff the same sort of respect as somebody who is on the opposite side of that?
Can you give a little bit of background on who the folks are and like what's this council supposed to do?
Yeah, you know what? Let's read their whole ledger here. Because okay, so basically, trust and safety. Let me link you guys to this too. When it comes to safety, everyone plays a role. Twitter empowers every voice to shape the world, but you can't do that unless you feel safe and confident enough to express yourself freely and connect with the world around you. To help give your voice more power, Twitter does not tolerate behavior intended to harass, intimidate, or use fear to silence another user's voice. Working together, we will ensure Twitter is a platform where anyone, anywhere can express themselves safely and confidently. The Twitter Trust and Safeties Council. So the Twitter Trust and Safeties Council provides input on our safety products, policies, and programs. Twitter works with safety advocates, academics, and researchers, grassroots advocacy organizations that rely on Twitter to build movements and community groups working on to prevent abuse. So let me link you guys to some of the people. The one that stood out to me, a very polarizing person by the name of Feminist Frequency, who you guys know is Anita Sarkeesian, who we don't really.
Oh no.
We're not fans of on Throwdown. So it's like I don't know if I'm gonna exactly trust this. Like basically, if I have something to say which may not be in line with some of these people say, will I be protected if I get harassed? I
Right.
don't know.
If I say, why hasn't she been declared a hate group because she hates gamers or a giant fraud? Great choice for a safety council.
I mean, I guess it depends, right? Like a lot of these folks I'm not necessarily familiar with. Femme Frequency, I am familiar with her stuff, but it's also one of those things where it's like, it is. We see in the grand scheme that there's a lot of harassment that goes on Twitter, and there's a lot of folks who get it more than other folks get it. And I think if they're being kind of consistent and honest about what they want to kind of move towards, as far as trying to make that space a little bit better, because they're doing a piss poor job of it, then I guess if you're going to include people who have gotten harassed a lot, yes, sometimes she can be a bomb thrower, but I also think that there's a section of that where a lot of it is unnecessary on the other end of it, right? If we're being reasonable about it, right?
No,
It's like,
I totally agree with you. But my thing is, I'm sorry. Go ahead, finish off, and then I got to jump in. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, keep going.
Yeah, no, my thing is like, have we gotten to the point where we need this though? It's like, this goes back to what some man he said. There was like an old adage we used to have. It's like sticks and stones, right? It's like, I know some people get really fucking stupid, but at the end of the day, it's just text on a screen, right? Like if you start getting phone calls to your house, that's a totally different matter. I get that, but some of this shit, it's like, guys, just because someone disagrees with you doesn't mean they're an evil person. Because you see that a lot now. It's like someone disagrees with you, you are a horrible person. It's like, why can't we just discuss things instead of just blocking people? Not everybody out there is a bomb thrower. Like I'm willing to discuss things, but I know some guys aren't willing. They just want to, be fucking trolls and shit. But
here's the thing. Here's the thing about that. We're This is all new. We're literally the first generation that has to deal with this on this level and this scope with the internet and just being connected globally and people being anonymous behind their screens and their keyboards, spitting all this nonsense out there. So look, I don't know if.
Oh, Parris, you muted, man. Yeah. Parris, you muted. Oh,
yeah, I got so excited I muted it. No, I don't know if we need it. I don't know if we don't need it. But we kind of have to experiment and try to see what's going on. You know what I mean? So I know what you're saying. I feel like I have a thick enough skin that, hey, look, I can just ignore it and just keep on moving. But not everyone can be me. Not everyone can be you. So how does these social media networks regulate this stuff? They have to step in at some point. So this is just kind of the first shot at trying to see what sticks.
What do you think they're trying to regulate, though? Like, let me ask you that question. What do you believe they're trying to regulate?
What do I think? You're asking me?
Yeah.
I think they're trying to give people basically a safe place to have discussion. And because let's just take Twitter for example. Twitter is no longer growing. Twitter has a problem. They're not getting new people coming to their network. And why are they not coming to their network? Because when new people do come in, they're either being ignored or they're being harassed. So they're trying to fix that problem.
So do you feel everybody or a certain group of people is experiencing this?
I think it could be everybody. I honestly don't know. The groups, the circles that I go in, I don't have to worry about that, you know. But I know there's a lot of people out there that do. I would specifically say I know women have that problem, of course, you know, because men are idiots. So of course they're going to be harassed all the time, right? So
what if I were to tell you that men were harassed online more than women?
I wouldn't believe you.
I can. Let me pull up the study, and I will link it in the chat.
Well, I've read that study.
Well, I want to say more than women, but I think it's underrated how much men are harassed online.
Yeah, because you know, I don't know about the study, but I'm pretty sure, you know, if it's true, it's probably because a lot of guys don't speak up because they don't want to be seen like pussies. You know, it's like, oh, I'm not saying that.
But it's what you call it too, though. I think there's a difference between, because I read that study too, and it's they kind of broke it down from what I remember of across sexual lines, and then like in your same gender circle.
Oh, men are harassed more. Women are stalked more. I will concede that, absolutely.
Right. So it's like that part of that conversation goes down a different route of, like, if you even break it down from that, you take it away from Twitter and you say, let's use the Xbox Live version of that, right? Or use the gaming version of that, where you got a whole bunch of shit talk that happened no matter who it was from whatever side. And it was broken down and like, hey, if you sent me a message and you said that I was shit after I beat you in whatever game it was, that could be harassment, right? That could be used as a way to kind of talk about the space not being safe for people in some ways. The frequency in which some folks get that is way higher than other folks do in some ways. I've been in enough circles, at least with the people who I hang out with, and it's probably more in that SJW crowd. I've heard a lot of folks who personally have been harassed and have been in a lot of kind of circles where they are getting messages from multiple sources on, like, not even something where they've kind of thrown a bomb, but they've been getting stuff just for their beliefs or their thoughts or the things that they've been saying in those spaces. So as far as kind of broadening that out into what this supposed council can do, Twitter is doing this in the same way that they need to protect, like Parris said, their brand. Their brand is losing a lot of steam in a lot of ways, and it's not because of the kind of traffic that they're doing. It's not because they don't have money. It's because folks are looking at the space now as being toxic in a way that they can't go back from. And that's, if you want to do that on their end and say, hey, if Tony wants to say, or whoever wants to say, like, I don't agree with these people who are on this council, I totally get that. That's reasonable. But I don't think this is digging into thought police territory that a lot of people kind of say.
Yeah, I think my main thing is it's like, okay, because I could see kind of both sides. You do need to regulate stuff, but then at what point does the regulation get to be so much that you kind of lose freedom? That's always been my thing, you know?
And then my question is, will everybody get the same sort of treatment? Even if you have an opinion that might be appalling,
I think
that's the whole point of
I
this.
think
As long as you're not,
yeah. Go ahead, Manny. Go
as
ahead,
long
Manny.
as you, as long as you're not hurting anybody, you can say, our country says you can say whatever you want to say. If you're harassing somebody, yes, then that becomes a problem.
But it's up to a person to decide whether they feel harassed. And what they're talking about here is the curation of language through medium. And, like, you can say it's for the betterment all you want, but what you are essentially doing is restricting speech. That is what you're doing. And what you're going to see is a lot of people who don't necessarily hold the ideas of the people put on these councils. You're going to see them having a mass exodus from Twitter.
I mean, but you can't scream fire in a movie theater either. Like, there's versions of restricted speech that we've all decided.
Oh yes, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's a version
You know
of
what?
that.
I've been banned from more forums from basically trying to start intelligent discourse with feminists than anywhere else on the internet. It is a toxic think speak in certain circles, and there's no way that you get away from it. And I realize that's a vocal minority, but the problem is that specifically Anita Sarkeesian is that kind of person. She is a demagogue, and she is the worst example of modern-day McCarthyism that I think anybody could point to in the last 50 years.
I think
no, I agree with that. I kind of consider her almost the modern day Frederick Wortham. You know, she's kind of getting there. But Cicero, I see you down there, man. You want to say something, so go ahead.
Right. Well. So I want to say that while I understand exactly what Chris is saying, and I understand that there are times when you want to open genuine discourse with people that you feel like, because the things that you have to say are essentially the antithesis of their thought process and their belief system, that they're going to completely shut you down. But we just recently we've had an example with Zoe Quinn where her accuser was being doxxed, and she shut down all of her, or not her accuser, her harasser was being doxxed, and she stopped, she vilified and denounced all the people that were doxing him and that were harassing him, and she shut down her harassment claim against him because of all of this stuff that was happening. So I think that
she's also been shown to go through like a litigious legal battle, pulling backhanded moves to try and run out this guy. This is the cherry on the top. That doesn't excuse her from her behavior. It just makes her look better.
The point is that the point that I'm trying to make is that there is this opportunity for the people on either side of this political battle to show some type of leniency and clemency, and I think that you if given the opportunity, you'll see that some people are doing that, or are exercising some sort of restraint.
But those aren't the people that we're holding up. We're holding up the Anita Sarkeesians and the Zoe Quinns. The Zoe Quinns that did practically illegal, borderline unconstitutional gag orders for the better part of a year just to keep somebody from being able to speak out, using money from God only knows where. Like, her actions are intolerable. I don't care about the fact that she may, in public face, do something which makes her not look like the bad guy. Also, her harasser is the person who she basically took through a year of legal battles for stating the truth of what happened and letting the internet make up their own opinion of them. If there is any harasser in that situation, it is her, and that's the thing that bothers me. If you have a Google alert set up that anytime somebody tries to talk about you or how you wronged them, that is shutting somebody up. That is stopping their freedom of speech. Especially what they said.
I disagree. I think that and again, and here we are. This is an opportunity for that type of intelligent discourse that you're searching out. I don't necessarily agree with your assessment. Obviously, you've got an axe to grind with her that I don't, and that's fair. That it's fair that you do, but I don't have that axe, and I don't see things as clearly as you do, and as I hear what you have to say about her, I see it as being something that's completely subjective, and and it's fine to have a subjective opinion of someone, but just because you say it with confidence and with a very, very direct feeling doesn't necessarily mean it's the 100% truth.
No, I absolutely agree with that. In fact, I personally believe that most people are on a border of the truth. Very few of us can stand on the high ground of absolute truth and claim supremacy. So my question is like this, and this is just my kind of like, wow, okay, so somebody on the other side of the fence. I have some questions. So first of all, like on the Zoe Quinn thing, and I'm sorry if we're sidetracking us, but is it agreed that she had sexual relations behind her partner's back with people in the video game industry and received what appeared to be preferential treatment because of this?
No, that is categorically not true. The first part is true, the first part may be true, that she cheated on her boyfriend. That part is true. The second part is categorically not true. So if we're playing a truth table and we're playing in absolutes, then the answer to that question is false.
Well, I can see why you would deny it, because it would be hard to prove, but it's also equally as hard to disprove. And the guy did not.
Well, what's not hard to prove is that she didn't receive preferential treatment as a result of any relationship. She didn't receive preferential treatment because the person that was responsible for reviewing her game was someone completely removed from the person that she was allegedly sleeping with, or let's say not allegedly sleeping with. It doesn't really matter. I don't care what she does, or who she sleeps with. It doesn't it doesn't bother me. I'm not in a relationship with her. So, but the fact remains that it didn't help her receive a better score or better coverage or anything to that effect with respect to her game. That part is completely, that's completely objective.
Yeah. Okay, I'm actually gonna kill it right there because we've had this discussion before. Actually, I want to introduce our friend Charles Singletary real quick. We just bumped in here. What's up, man?
Hey, Charles.
Mr. Singularity.
and I'm actually glad you're here, Charles. Actually, Charles, say hi to people, man.
Hello, everyone. I don't want to say.
Hey, Charles.
I don't want to say too much. I don't want to say too much to sidetrack everything because it's such a great conversation. I just want to dive in with everybody. So.
Yeah, but I'm actually glad you're here because perfect segue to the real reason I want to talk about this. Okay, remember we had a little thing on our site about a month ago, panel to panel versus Throwdown, right? We didn't see eye to eye on things, but what did we do? We sat down, we talked it through, and at the end, even though we didn't agree, we understood where we were all coming from. I wish that's what would happen, like in general. It's like, what happened to the days of sitting down and talking to people? And I really think the internet is stifling that. It's just throw bombs. Let's not talk to each other. Because again, I feel like when I see these people that I don't necessarily agree with, I want to talk to them and try to understand them, even if I'm not going to agree with them. But it always feels like when I try to do that, I'm the asshole because I'm not like them. So it's like, okay, you're killing me, not killing the whole conversation before you even started. So, that's what I'm worried about with this group. Again, we don't really know exactly what this group is. That byline they had, very kind of vague or whatever. But again, it just feels like they may cut conversations off. And again, as a guy who loves free speech, I'm not for it. And Charles, I see you very animated down there. So go ahead, jump in.
I just want to say, I just got off work, so I don't know if this may have been said before, but I feel like our apprehension to this whole trust council is focused on one person that's a part of that trust council and assuming that they're going to act as if she ran the whole show. She's one of many names. And I don't think that she's going to be allowed the free reign that we're so scared of to do whatever she pleases. I think, and if you take her name out of this equation, I don't think we would have the concerns about the trust council that we do. at this point.
I mean, her being there is a part of it, but, you know, to me, it leads back to the whole thing. Will they protect everybody's free speech, even if they don't agree with what that person's saying? That's the real question we're asking here. Outside of her, you know how I feel about her. I'm taking her out of this. Well, you know, it just seems like it's like a Big Brother type of thing, like a console. We're gonna tell you what you can or can't say. It's very creepy, and it kind of worries me. You know, that's
I guess
my
it
thing.
depends too, though, right? Like the conversation, like I've had this conversation a couple of times about the kind of progressive versus conservative space, and talking about, oh shit, we're about to get political, but talking about
fuck it, go.
how what is the things that you're worried about losing in terms of what you're able to say. And what are those things, and should you need to say those things? It's like me deciding against trying to not use the N-word, right? And saying I'm not going to use that, whatever forms of it, A or ER, in my speech because I think it doesn't need to be in my lexicon anymore. Do I lose anything by not saying the dickish thing, or saying the thing that is maybe a little bit askew for the sake of saying it? Like, I don't think you lose a lot by necessarily removing some versions of speech that don't necessarily have a place that you need to kind of go. Like, I think there's versions of that.
But at the same time, you're still losing something, because I'm an advocate of say what you're gonna say and deal with the consequences. You know, I'm all about just real free speech. You know, that's.
Well, but you said deal with the consequences though.
Right. Yeah, you deal with them. You deal with them. You shouldn't have somebody else impose those consequences on you.
Wait, you talking about you as in like the person that said them deal with them themselves?
Yeah, like if I say something dumb and I get heat, okay, I got to deal with it, right? I don't want a console telling other people, you know, hey, he's some stupid. Don't go after him. You're harassing him. You know, it's like you're limiting their free speech and to call me out on my bullshit. You know?
But that's the thing, though, right? It's like it's the conversation also that you hear about trigger warnings, right? I'm assuming that a lot of people don't like trigger warnings in this room.
Yeah, I don't agree with it. It's like trigger, get out of here with that nonsense. No,
but here's the crazy thing. You just came from watching what was the movie?
Deadpool.
Yeah.
Deadpool. You already got trigger warnings before you walked into the movie theater. You got We've had trigger warnings around us forever.
Wait, how? You need to explain this, because, like, what do you mean by that?
Any movie rating is a trigger warning.
Yep.
If you have any kind of,
every time you watch a TV show, there's a trigger warning.
You have a trigger warning. Those are trigger warnings that have been around you forever. Those things have always been around you. And there's this difference between the idea of how are we going to use these words and kind of set these boundaries for people that we have in some parts where we are totally okay with it, but in other parts, it's become this new thing that's become something that's like, oh no, you can't tell me I can't do this specific thing because, or you're going to tell me that I'm going to experience this thing before I get it. Well, we've had it forever. We've had it for a long time. And people just don't recognize that those are trigger warnings too. And they don't affect you. They don't change the way that you view the media that you do. And they don't really move you in a specific way towards or against the things that you already like.
But here's the thing, though. These are things that happen beforehand. You get this warning beforehand. It's not like you say something and then it's like, oh, you shouldn't have said that. It's like no one told me what the rules are, you know, because it always seems like the rules are changing every day, you know. So what are the rules? That's what I want to know.
Sure, that's a different argument, though.
Yeah, but I still see that the same thing, though. It's like, what are the rules that these people are going to set up? That's the other thing, you know. But again, it goes back to free speech. I don't like the thought of somebody just limiting you because they don't like what you said because it makes them feel bad, you know. That's the other thing. It's like people are, you know, like Manny said, people are kind of becoming babies now. It's like we're becoming so sensitive. Everything's a trigger warning. Hey, trigger warning. This has milk in the post. It's like, how is that a trigger warning?
I don't disagree, Tony, at all. I will say though that there are certain times, like we have to remember that when we exist on the internet, we're existing as a whole, and it's not just adults on the internet with fully formed, you know, thought processes and brains and, you know, maturity levels or what have you, but there were also children, and these children are using the same platforms to communicate with each other that we're using to communicate, and you know, kids are dying, and I agree that it's dumb. Like, I got teased as a kid. My fucking name is Cicero. I grew up in a black town. Of course I got fucking teased all the time. I spoke proper English. I got teased all the time. I had to fight my way through school, literally. And it didn't force me to want to kill myself. But that type of stuff is happening to kids, and irrespective of how we feel about trigger warnings, I think we can all agree that we don't want kids to kill themselves. We don't want kids to feel so bad about life that they decide to take their own life.
Well, wouldn't this bring up the argument that maybe Facebook and Twitter should up their minimum age range then, if kids aren't mature enough to handle this type of stuff in this discourse? Instead of policing all of us, why don't we just up the age range? Look, I had to sit at a kiddie table as a kid, and you know what? If somebody fucking called me out offline, I'd be like, I'll see you at school the next day, and we'd fight about it. Like, I wasn't going to cry myself to sleep or kill myself. I was going to knock your ass out the next day at school. So there's a difference in maturity levels and how people handle things for all different types of stuff, and I understand that. But maybe if we're having a discourse and there's 13-year-old kids online with 47-year-old guys talking about whatever, like, I don't know, maybe we all shouldn't be sitting at the same table.
How would they?
But we are.
And even.
But you can change that policy. This is all run by private companies. This isn't a public forum. Twitter is a company. Facebook is a company. They set their own guidelines. They make up their own corporate rules. They could just up the minimum age range and go, sorry guys, now we're cutting it off at 16 or whatever.
Do we really think that would stop them from getting online though?
Right.
No, it wouldn't stop them. You give them a kiddie table then. Make up a fucking social platform for kids.
Do you really think that's going to prevent them from making some fake account or something? Like, what's going to be set in place to kind of limit that? Like, what will happen? What would they have to provide to prove that they're that age?
In the early days of Facebook, you had to be a high school graduate at minimum to use that site. And granted, there was a much smaller user base at that point, but I don't think we had these kind of problems back then on sites like Facebook when it was like, okay, well, you gotta, it was something. It was some kind of minimum.
With them, you had to provide a college email at some point.
Yes.
With Facebook.
Right.
But how would that apply to Twitter though? That's my question. How would that work? What would be the thing that they could force you to have to be able to get on?
The same thing. Then have secure signups. If you need to get private information from people, hell, I need to give my social security number just to get my tonsils looked at. I don't see the problem with that. If I have to give my personal information, it's like, here's my date of birth and here's my social. You want to confirm it? You can look at my fucking credit score if you want to go on Twitter. That's fine. That's what adults do. I have to do that to buy a car. I have to do that to buy a house. I have to do that to go see the doctor. So if I want to chat on the forum and not have fucking kids call me gay 24/7, then maybe we should just do that too.
Here's a quick question for you guys. What do you think will be the thing? Because it sounds like the council and the kind of idea that you're going to lose some freedoms is there. What other version of trying to make discourse more civil on social media would you want to see implemented?
Non-anonymous screen names.
That would be great. Yeah,
that's the biggest one.
Yeah, but that doesn't move anything. We've seen that on every YouTube channel.
The thing is about being anonymous is it's a semi sort of shield. If you were able to go out there and people will go out there and say all the same stuff under their own name, they wouldn't say those things.
Have you been on Facebook recently?
Yeah.
People say a lot of racist things on Facebook.
Yeah.
Because they're crazy.
Yeah, I call Facebook the racist that you know and Twitter the racist you don't know.
Right.
The problem becomes with basically babysitting it. The question, I guess, is who gets to determine what is right speech and what is not wrong speech? The Dangerous Speech Foundation. They want to limit speech that they assume is dangerous based on a variety of super vague criteria, including a powerful speaker with a high degree of influence over the audience. The audience has grievances and fears that the speaker can cultivate. historical content for propagations of violence. A means of dissemination is influential in and of itself. For example, because it is the sole or primary source of news for the relevant audiences. Like, I get that you're trying to find a lawyery way to say what's dangerous speech and what's not dangerous speech, but you come to a certain point where if you shut down dissenting ideas. Like right now, you can't really speak against the face of feminism. Like I believe in a pure meritocracy. I don't believe in third wave feminism. Can I say that in certain circles? Not at all.
I disagree, because I don't think if you had a cordial conversation against them that you would be blocked out in this particular instance.
It's happened already.
And like a cordial, like a non-inflammatory conversation, they were completely like, shut out.
I can have, generally not here, but I can have civil discourse. And I've tried going in places. Hell, I can't even go on certain parts of Reddit for posting on other parts of Reddit. I can't follow, or I can't be not blocked by certain celebrities based on algorithms of who I might associate with. So I'm being proven guilty before I even had a chance to open my mouth and silence. That alone is a problem, and we are threatening to venture further down that road. And beyond that, the thing that's really been pissing me off lately, like I've been completely ousted out of the conversation because I'm a white male, which sounds weird and retarded, but it's fucking happening. I just had an incident at the post office yesterday where a woman was taking 45 fucking minutes to try and return stamps that she couldn't return, and then when nobody in line wanted to buy them from her, she accused us all because it was the color of her skin. You can't go to Twitter and bitch about that kind of thing because the general narrative is opposite.
I don't know. See, here's the thing, though, and I don't know what it's like to have white man power, so I can't speak to it.
But bring it back, though. Imagine if he went on Twitter. This fucking black bitch was holding up the line for 45 minutes. Like, you white asshole, you fucking racist. He can't say that. Even though she was a bitch and she just happened to be black. He can't say that.
But Tony, I can't say that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I can't jump on Twitter.
We don't have a free pass for this.
I don't even have to do the best part. I could just jump on and say, like, man, this chick at the post office was pissing me off, and after 45 minutes of getting in my way, they accused me of being a racist, and the reaction I'm going to get is going to be, well, were you? Like, what? No, I wasn't being a fucking racist. God damn it.
Well, hey, sorry.
Yeah. What do you mean by that? No.
That's the thing that bothers me, because that in and of itself is racism. And I'm going to pull the poor white person card, but I am going to say it's fucking frustrating having people always assuming that I'm racist, always assuming that I'm voting for the patriarchy.
You know what though? But you know what though? You know what else is frustrating? It's frustrating getting in my car and being freaking followed by the police all the time for doing absolutely nothing.
Just because you folks think I'm white.
I highly doubt it happens on any type of level to the majority of the people in this chat right now. So I have no pity for that. Sorry.
Hey, I live in New York. I don't even own a car.
But here's the thing. Two wrongs make a right?
No, I have to say this. I have to say this. As a white man, you coming in here complaining about something like that gets zero sympathy from me. Absolute zero. Sorry.
Number one. I don't. Here's the thing. That if you now, that's just a situation of you just closing off the conversation right there. Why would it make any sort of difference?
I can answer that though. I think there is a level of kind of there's a level of ability for many white people that I have come in contact with who have felt like they are being aggrieved by the conversation itself coming up and saying that why is it that just as me being who I am kind of the issue when it comes to me being able to say what I need to say or voice an opinion. The ability to kind of have even that being questioned is a privilege that you may have that a lot of folks don't even get. And it's like I can have that same conversation, but even after I do that part of it and say, hey, I am aggrieved, I'm still placed in a position where I still have to deal with all the extra stuff that goes along with that aggrieved position. I have to still worry about institutional racism. I still have to worry about all the other kinds of systemic racism. I still have to worry about all the other things that go along with that. That even after you have made the argument online of why can't I say this thing, you still get to benefit from the things that you may not know that you benefit from.
So
it's
here's
like,
the question.
Sure.
Why, when I say, yeah, sure, I recognize that institutional racism is a thing and it absolutely needs to be addressed. But why is it that shutting people out of the conversation who understand that is somehow making things better? Here's the thing. I've been raised in multicultural neighborhoods all my fucking life. I have a neck tattoo. White people don't fucking like me. Nobody fucking likes me. So I find my way around people who I don't care what skin color they are, right?
Yeah.
All you're doing by pushing me on the boundary is making me not fucking care anymore.
I mean, well, here's the thing. I've had that conversation with my wife also. My wife is white. We have the conversation. We had this when we talked about Black Lives Matters a lot. And we talked about, is there a proper way to kind of approach the conversation about race and about racial identity and about racial discrimination in a way where you give everyone an equal part of that conversation, right? And her thing, she said once, was like, don't rush the stage, because then the people who you could have as allies won't be allies to you because you've rushed the stage and you've done it in this really bombastic way. You can say that that's the thing where I'm like, hey, I'm not shutting down this conversation, but we've had this conversation numerous times. And that part of that is like, yes, you may be aggrieved, or the conversation may be shut down in a certain way that isn't beneficial to you at that moment. But we're kind of waiting for you to have, for not you, but for people who have not understood these conversations to catch up. So we've been waiting for a long time. So all the time that we're waiting for that catch up to happen, we've had to continuously push into the narrative, push to the conversation.
What catch up?
What catch up? The catch up of 400 years of oppression. I mean, that's the literal catch up. I mean, we have so there's an analogy that's been that is made a lot of times, and this analogy, the analogy is this, that we all are running a 100-yard dash, right? You start at 0 yards, but we start at 100 yards back. And then we have to win. We all have to run the same race, and we're expected to win the race. But we can't, we have to be literally double as fast as you.
But what makes you think that I start at 0?
In the way that society is
in the way that society is set up.
Because of what?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you guys don't find that an overgeneralization or a stereotype?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Nope.
It's because, well, here's the thing. You can have a neck tattoo and still get a job. No problem. My name is Cicero F. Holmes III, and when I go into interviews, and I sound this way, when I go into interviews, I still get double takes. Oh, wait, you're Cicero?
What makes you think I can get a job with a neck tattoo?
But that's a choice. That's a choice. Right. I was born this way. See, that's the difference.
Right.
That's the defining difference.
Right.
You chose to have a neck tattoo, which separates you from what is quote unquote being normal. Whereas I was born the way that I am, and I have to fight to be on equal footing with you every day.
It's not a contest, and the fact that it can't be
life.
Even playing
Life.
Yeah, it's not a game. It's life. It's real life.
Right. Right. And like I understand. I understand that you're like, hey, shit is hard for me.
No, that's not what I'm saying. The thing that I'm saying is I understand shit is hard for you, but by blocking people out that want to be advocates towards that whole thing, you're only bringing up a wall, which doesn't help.
And no one disagreed with that. However, the things that you continue to say are talking about why is it that you keep saying that things are hard for you, or that things are hard for us. Because things are hard for us.
I'm gonna say this real quick. I'm gonna say this real quick because I've felt this a lot of times. I'm like, I am glad I'm not a real white man in America, because you really can't say shit if you're fucking white in this country, man. It's like, you're like, no, don't say nothing.
I mean, but look.
Yeah, that's why I'm glad I'm Hispanic. I'm like, I could kind of talk shit about everybody. This is right.
And here's the thing. Tony, when people say that, hey, I'm a white guy, why can't I say things and why can't I do things and why is the conversation stopping? I revert to my old friend Billy Joel and I sing the song "We Didn't Start the Fire."
Right.
But the thing is, I want to ask is that why is it assumed that people are continuing to burn the fire? Brett here is not burning a fire, is he?
No, I totally don't think so. I mean, I think there's the conversation that goes along. I think it's like the way that it kind of goes to the conversation of how do you fix racism, right? There's the statistical, the institutionalized versions of that. Then there is the version where me and Murdock sit in a room, we talk about all the shit that goes down between me and the way I look at life, the way that he looks at life. We have a beer and we figure it out. And we figure out where the in-between spaces are. We figure out the things that we may not have known about each other that come from all those aspects of it. And that's the way racism gets fixed in the country. The problem is people don't have that time. They don't have that energy. They don't have that actual physical space. They don't have time to do it because they've been working a fucking 9-to-5 job. So there's a lot of aspects to that don't help that, and social media isn't the place to have that conversation.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Why can't that's the fucking truth. If you treat everybody equally? Like, why can't that just be the thing that we all just agree to move on from?
That's expecting like some perfect world to just instantly happen.
Right. No, but it should be the thing that we strive towards, right? Like, it should be, and I brought it up over a lot of times. Like, I like seeing a black man in a position of authority and nobody making a big fucking deal about it. I like seeing same-sex married couples and nobody bats an eye. Like, I think that's progress. Why can't we just agree to hold those things up, all treat each other like human beings despite the fact that we may all be different on the outside, and fucking move on from there?
Well, I mean, that would be great.
Because
for the last 8 years, there has been a large swath of the country trying to get their country back. That's why. I mean, that's why. And this is coming from the Republican in the room. Right. So, like, I mean, that's...
You know what you could do? You know what you can do? Because this is all back in the news recently now. Go back 20 years and watch the O.J. Simpson trial.
Right.
That sums everything up from both sides there. Right. Because despite it's easy to say, oh, we all should just get along and it all should just be great, but that isn't reality. That isn't real life. There are lines drawn in the sand on both sides. I mean, look at the nonsense in Oregon. Look at all the nonsense going on with the police. Look at the freaking presidential race right now that's going on. That it's
presidential farce.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think that there's a space in between where people can have nuanced conversation. I think this is the thing that white people need to do in a lot of ways is you have to take a minute and sit back and say, am I asking this question? Because we had this conversation with Jaffe on the previous show, where it was like, are you asking the questions that you're asking out of actual curiosity, or are you asking about how can I still do the things that I've usually been doing in a way that won't get me in trouble?
I'm asking out of frustration on I go about my world the way my daddy taught me, and that's to be respectful to fucking everybody and to stand up for people when people are picking on them. So all of a sudden in the last few years, it's gotten down to I try and step up, I try and help people, I try and be there or make what I've always heard, and I've been getting increasingly oh, well, you don't have a place in this conversation. You don't have a right to talk. You are part of the problem, so you can't say anything. And that comes from that's coming from everywhere. That's coming from race discussion. That's coming from gender discussion. And I can't help but feel a little bit frustrated. And it's not an oh poor me kind of thing, but it is a goddamn it. I don't understand how people who are really heavily into these conversations don't understand that they're shutting down the communication. And
here's a plan of action for you. Because this is something that we talk about at my job often, because we're trying to figure out ways in which we can kind of push better discourse out into the world in some ways. the first step that you should always take when you go into a situation like this is you ask the people, and this is social media, so social media is an anomaly and it's hard to do it on social media spaces, but ask the people what they may need and then see if you can help get them to that position, but only after you have asked them if they need some help. And that's a thing that definitely makes a difference in the way that discourse works, is because you're not coming into the position in ways that people think that you're trying to take over a conversation.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, no. I give that wide berth. That is a huge pet peeve of mine. That is my whole beef with Will Wheaton. Don't be a flag raiser for somebody else who doesn't need you to wave their fucking flag, because all it does is steal their goddamn agency.
Right. Yeah, it helps. I mean, it's a thing that helps, and I hear that frustration from a lot of folks who aren't necessarily in marginalized spaces. But I think a lot of times, again, people have been doing this conversation and having these issues for so long that their walls are really high, and it's going to be a lot of things that break down those walls. And I think it only works in between kind of intimate spaces. That's the only way it actually gets better.
Yeah, well said, man. This turned into something completely different than I was expecting, but I loved it. This was great. Like, thank you guys, man. Great. By the way, I had about 5 or 6 different crude things I could have said, but I'm like, Tony, don't do it.
Here's the thing. This is exactly what we're doing right now. We're actually having a conversation, and that's the thing that really, like you said. You guys said, like, it's having that conversation and talking about it. That's what bridges lines. It's not just saying, well, accusing and all kinds of other silliness. It's actually listening and hearing what the other what the other parties are saying, right?
Yeah.
Agreed.
And it's just sad that, and I think I was kind of getting to that. There are people on both sides that aren't going to have that discussion, don't want to have that discussion. And like and those types of people are in very influential places.
Yes.
And it's hard to fix that problem.
Yeah, but I mean, if we can have conversation like this, it'll work. At least. It's crazy. But the thing is, it's frustrating to me because I know ultimately we could try. We're never going to reach that point where it's going to be perfect because humans are assholes. And I personally don't have much faith in people. Just seeing how they are, man. People are fucking by nature. They're fucking greedy.
No, dude.
I think it will be. I think it can be fixed as long as we continue to have these kind of conversations and look at who we're influencing, especially the younger people. Because what's the best way to say this?
Just let the races die. I'll say it.
Man, yeah, you know what? That's exactly what I was trying to say, and he said it right there. Like, you give it time, a lot of those people aren't going to be the majority or in the positions of power that they're in.
Right.
We got to work, from the bottom up.
I'm trying to sex my way out of racism. That's the way I'm going.
See, again, I could make a really. Oh, I'll stop.
Yeah.
Take 400 years of slavery out on.
Tony gonna come through with the zinger and set this whole conversation back 2 hours.
Yeah, you already know what I'm gonna probably say. I'm saying Kahlief is a black man. He's talking about sex. He has an advantage, and I'm gonna leave it at that.
You know what the funny thing is? You'll find very few brothers who will be like, of all the stereotypes, I will leave that one alone. You can
right.
See, but that's one of those. But see, that's one of those things I could say on Twitter. No one would get mad at me. Like, man, I wish I had a stereotype against me that said I had a big penis. Man, I would love that stereotype against me. Shit, But also, I'll leave it alone. I'll tell you guys off here. All right, so let's wrap this up. This was a fantastic fucking show. One of the best throwdowns easily. Like, we packed up the whole fucking room, And man, I have no more things to say. Just thank you guys for being on. But please plug your stuff. Let's start with Parris, man. Where can people find you, bro?
I'm sorry.
You can find me sitting back there. He's like, man, look at my penis.
Oh, yeah.
Man, look at this, man. It's beautiful.
No, but all jokes aside, Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it, and I like this because I like the passion and the emotion that comes out in these conversations. But you can find me over at gamertagradio.com.
Yes. By the way, that's the same thing Danny was. He said, I like this group, man. I like, the passion. You said the same thing, so I appreciate that, man. And, you guys, what you guys do, man, is really, inspirational to us. Gamer Tag Radio set the whole thing off. Give you mad props for all that, And I love that you guys still, after all this shit, after all this success, you guys are still real dudes, You're not, like, letting all this get to your head. I love that shit. I could hit you up any time and get to you, man. I'm just being real, man. No, because some people, I'm just going to keep it real. Some dudes, fans off like those guys think they're too, like, oh, these guys are too big. Like, no, I chill with them at fucking events. These guys are cool motherfuckers, man. Well, thank you for keeping it real.
Oh, thank you, man. Hey, we're just people, man. I don't know. It's just, hey, we're all hanging out. We're all in the struggle together. That's the way I look at it. Neck tattoos and all. We're all in the struggle together.
And of course, our brothers from Spawn on Me, the other second greatest podcast. Throwdown still number one.
We're number one since we can't get David Jaffe on our show.
Yeah. But in all honesty, like, you guys really humble the fuck out of me, man. Like, you get all these big time guests, and the production quality because of crazy ass Kahlief, man. Spend all the time editing. It's insane, man. So shout out to you guys, and I really like the way you kind of like raised the discourse in gaming too, which is really cool. You did it tonight to our crazy ass show. So it shows you right there. So where can people find you, and maybe tease some stuff you got coming?
Oh man, so you can find me and C and Reef at spawnon.me. You can find us on iTunes, NPR One, and some other good places. I think you can next week, which will have David Smith and Alex Evans, the two of the founders and technical directors of Media Molecule, on the show.
Nice.
Then we have Jessica Condit from Engadget coming up the week after that. So yeah, we're running around. We're doing a whole bunch of stuff. We're just trying to make it happen. See?
I mean, you fucking said it all. I mean, what else? Check us out. Our show drops every Tuesday, and you can hear some hashtag Subnostication. So, hey, look, we always enjoy discourse on Invercargo, our fake adopted home, and we're so happy to come back to our second home here on the Throwdown and hang out with you guys. Arguments and all, it doesn't matter. Once it's all said and done, once the lights go down, we're all having beers. Manny, I will see you in a month.
Yep, C2E2.
Yeah, that's what's up. And just so you know, it will be my birthday, so look for an invite. Yes.
Oh, all right, sure, man.
Look for an invite. Come out and celebrate with me.
Were you gonna have? Well, maybe you don't want to say it because you don't want a bunch of people mobbing it.
Whatever. I mean, listen, the more the merrier. I think we're gonna wind up doing some dim sum down in Chinatown.
Right.
All right.
So I think that'll be a fun time. So, but I'll hit you up.
Definitely, man.
Yeah.
Awesome. Charles, man, you got a lot of shit going yourself, man. Plug some of the stuff you're up to.
First, I'd like to say that Parris was lying. He's a complete dick. He's complete trash. He's a trash human being, man. The gamer tag shit goes straight to his head. When I first met him at E3, he stiff armed me out to the middle of the street, but we weren't gonna talk about it. So, it's real. I don't want to let the people believe that this is just some humble gentleman on this show. Shout out to the rest of y'all though.
I'm done. I can't do it.
Man, you gonna let this man talk shit, man?
Check out Panel to Panel, the comic book podcast on the Coalition, and Nice the Turntable, the definitive hip hop podcast. But thank you for letting me be on. Just get on the listen. It was a great conversation.
It was a great episode.
But gamer tag, y'all gonna cancel your show now that games are coming to PC? Just shut the whole thing down?
I just have to say for the record that I'm looking dead in the camera too. Everything that he said about me is 100% the truth. When I saw him at E3, I was like, "Keep walking, bro. Just keep walking."
Oh man, and of course our favorite frequent guest, Alex Nuss from Junkie Monkeys. You should get an award for like the guy who's been on Throwdown the most.
Yeah, send me a trophy, man. Next time we see it.
I'll draw you up a trophy.
Draw him a plaque.
I'll draw you up a trophy.
I just realized this is the person that you introduced me to on Twitter.
Yes.
Today.
Oh, really?
Hey,
Okay.
shouts out to you. Kanye's album is trash. All right, let's go.
Yeah, really enjoying your content too. Junkie Monkeys is doing some dumb stuff. So good shout
Yes,
to you.
yes, indeed.
Yeah, actually, I just officially announced my manga on Junkie Monkeys the other day, and that'll be. And Treasy's coming. I don't know if all you guys know him, but he's going to SakuraCon in Seattle, and we'll actually have a few hard copies to give out and all that.
Oh, nice.
And that's when it's dropping, pretty much.
Oh, congrats.
Nice.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. Just some advice though. If you're gonna be doing manga, it's SakuraCon, not Sakura.
Oh, really? Oh, I don't know. That's the whole reason why I'm doing it. I'm doing it as like a parody. So
I love being a nerd, man.
Oh no, it's cool.
But yeah, so Charles, get this man on nice little turntable, man. He'd love to be on that, I'm guessing. Talking to hip hop. Unmute yourself, brother.
He might want to let this Kanye conversation blow over before you come on the show, because he might not be ready for that heat, man.
Can I just get on that Ye show so I can talk about fashion?
We can make it happen. We can do a fashion episode on KLTC, bro.
Okay.
Oh, man. All right, guys, let's wrap this up. So thank you for watching and listening. Be sure to follow The Coalition at thecoalition.com. Subscribe to Throwdown on SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Throwdown Show and on Facebook. Links are available in the description below. Once again, our show is Tony Polanco. Tell us joined by, get ready, I gotta name a lot of people now. Emilio Lopez.
Later, guys. See you next week. Oh, actually, no. See you in the Throwdown your questions.
Ta-da. Chris Seeley.
Hey, great show, everyone. Thank you.
Kristin Carella.
Bye, guys.
Alex Nuss.
See you soon, I guess.
Charles Singletary Jr.
My
Say
bad.
bye.
I was in a Skype chat at the same time.
All right, Cicero Holmes.
Peace.
Parris Lilly.
Cam Newton, Super Bowl MVP. Oops.
I own that. I'll take that.
And Kahlief Adams.
Harry Potter is still the devil.
All right, guys, we'll see you around next time. Later.
Later.